how do you get one of these?
Right? Yeah. Well, there are some stories like that one that really just stump us. And this one actually made national headlines, and we wanted to follow up to see whatever happened with this. You may remember this. It's actually been 5 months now since a man wearing an apparent wetsuit robbed the Paddlefish Grill restaurant at Disney Springs and then seemingly just swam away. Well, we've continued to press for answers and updates. We put in a public records request for the unredacted reports, photos, and videos. The state, though, still has not fulfilled that request, saying the case remains under, quote, active criminal investigation. Again, we are continuing to push for answers here. As soon as we learn anything, we'll let you know.
You know, of all the stories we've had on our newscast this year so far, that's the one my kids ask me about.
They wonder,
hey, have they caught
who
that,
is that
wetsuit guy
I'm assuming
yet?
it's a guy.
It's got to be a guy, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
We don't know what that person was, but it was an interesting scheme. Hey, some not so great news on the hardwood tonight. The Magic team, we need to get healthy here, and it's just not happening. The Magic announced Franz Wagner will be out indefinitely. The forward suffered a high ankle sprain more than 3 months ago. He's missed the last 25 games. Recent imaging confirmed Wagner needs more time to rehab before returning to full activities. He'll be reevaluated in 3 weeks. Coming out of the All-Star break, the Magic are the 7th seed in the East. That'll barely get them into the playoffs. There's 29 games left in the regular season, and we need our big Franz back in the lineup, and that is not
especially right now
looking good.
Yeah.
Even if we got him by the time the playoffs came back
Yeah.
around, that'd be helpful.
Absolutely. All right, we want to go back into the courtroom because there is a big court case that's playing out in California right now that really could impact your social media feeds. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg was in a Los Angeles courtroom testifying in a landmark trial over child social media addiction allegations. Zuckerberg denies the allegations that Instagram and Facebook are designed to be addictive and that kids are not protected. In a statement to CBS News, Meta says it strongly disagrees with those allegations, citing its commitment to supporting young people with built-in protections. Plaintiffs point to their infinite scrolling, autoplay, and recommended algorithms.
A trial like this one will hopefully uncover the disconnect between what companies say publicly to drive up business and engagement and what is actually going on behind the scenes.
So the plaintiff also sued Snapchat and TikTok, which settled out of court before the trial began. I mean, it is interesting to see how this plays out because they are addictive. They're addictive for adults, right? You get on there
All of
before
us.
you know
It's
it.
brain candy.
You've been on there for an hour and you just have this endless supply of content.
This is very true.
But
Yeah.
should someone be held liable for that?
That is going to be the
Yes.
legal question. And a lot of people look at this case, they see Meta, they say, well, kids aren't really on Facebook that much. Instagram though,
yeah.
owned also by Meta, and the kids are definitely on that Instagram. We'll let you know what happens with that very important case. Well, a number of people are out of their homes after a car goes right into their extended stay hotel.
Plus, more changes on the way in terms of the temperatures outside. We're going to have the latest on this bit of roller coaster that we're going to be on over the next several days right after the break.
The Red Cross is helping dozens of people who had been staying at this hotel after a car slammed into it on Tuesday. I'm News 6's Mark Lehman, and this all happened here behind me at the historic 1876 Heritage Inn. The security is keeping us at a distance from the hotel, but everyone here was forced to evacuate after that crash. We were here last night as the Red Cross responded to the inn. Volunteers have been working to help more than 50 people displaced, including 11 children. This all happened after drivers slammed into the extended stay hotel yesterday afternoon. Water and electricity were cut off to the 36 units here, and there are questions about the hotel's foundation. During all of this, the Red Cross opened an emergency shelter, but that facility is at a church in New Smyrna Beach, which is 28 miles away. One mother told us she appreciates the help, but staying at that shelter is unrealistic.
Our only option is an hour away to shelter. I have no car. I have 4 kids. I have a job I have to go to by 11 o'clock in the morning. And how am I supposed to do all that when I've based my life within these 2.5 miles? It works for us.
Christina Rowletson said she has no choice but to stay in the area, so she's unsure what she's going to do for the time being. And out here today, we are expecting crews to take a closer look at the damage to see what kind of repairs can be made and what that timetable looks like. Meanwhile, the Red Cross says they will be providing more information on the help they are offering to the people displaced here as it becomes available. Reporting in Orange City, Mark Lehman, News 6.
We're going to keep digging into that story. We actually have our community correspondent, Jarrell Baker, headed there right now to talk to the owner of that extended stay hotel.
Your heart goes out to those families who
Hopefully
are
they can
just
figure
left in
something out.
limbo right now. And, you know, as she said, she's got to get to work. She's got to take care of the kids. And this is a real issue out there. Well, it has been nice for a lot of people, myself included, specifically, to put away your winter coat and enjoy a little reprieve from that very cold weather we had.
But don't get too comfy. Those coats may be coming back. If you expect it to be gone until maybe November or December, that's not the case. Let's go to our social media sleuth, DJ, for a look at what you're talking about.
All right, nearly 500,000 views, hundreds of comments, hundreds of shares. Whether you're excited for it or not, everyone is talking about this.
A very quick shot of winter-like weather back into the forecast come Monday and Tuesday.
Here's the post on the News 6 Facebook page. It says Central Florida is about to get a reminder that winter is not done yet.
You can see temperatures could get near freezing.
And there are all kinds of different opinions on this one. Carol says, I almost put my heaters away, but something said not yet. Christian said, no, leave the cold out of this state. I enjoy it warm. Terry said, I knew it. I put all my warm clothes back in the closet. Jamie said, don't worry, it'll be 95 before you know it. Jamie, I'm with you. I'm not built for 95. But if you have any questions about this weather roller coaster we're about to experience, remember 9:30 p.m. weeknights, streaming on the News 6 app and News 6 YouTube. We have an interactive weather show hosted by our meteorologist, Jonathan Kagas. It's a half-hour discussion. You can drop in, ask him any questions you might have, because I have a feeling some people are wondering when this winter is going to finally be over with.
Hey,
Yes,
man.
we're all wondering.
Right. You know, I know some people do like the colder weather, but this is why we're in Florida. We like it warm.
True. Well, you're going to get it for a couple of days.
All right, we'll take it.
see.
Okay, coming up after the break, we're going to tell you about a recall about something that could be in your pantry.
Yeah, plus a new subscription model that is being rolled out by a social media platform. We'll talk about that after the break.
I'm News 6 anchor Louis Bold, and Snap is rolling out a new subscription plan, and there's a major recall involving peanut butter. Let's get over to Maribel Aber in today's Money Matters. Maribel, the FDA says that peanut butter could be contaminated.
Let's get into it, Lewis. Peanut butter sold or products sold in at least 40 states are being recalled over bits of plastic. The FDA's new safety notice expands on a previous recall by Ventura Foods. So more than 22,000 of its single-serve peanut butter packets may be contaminated. They were distributed by food services like Sysco, U.S. Foods, and Gordon Food Service. Lewis, lot numbers and other details can be found on the FDA's website.
Excellent. And Snap users have a new way to make money.
You know, Snap is introducing a new feature that allows users to earn recurring income directly from fans, Lewis. With creator accounts, influencers can offer exclusive content, including photos and videos, for a subscription fee. So this puts the platform in line with rivals like Substack, Patreon, Facebook, and Instagram. The Snapchat accounts will let creators set the price between $4.99 and $19.99 a month. They'll get to keep 60% of the money made. The platform is testing the function with a select group of creators now, with plans to expand soon. Lewis, hard to believe this all started with disappearing selfies.
Oh, wow. Maribel, thank you so much. And remember, you can always get the latest money and consumer news anytime. Just head to clickorlando.com.
Lewis, thank you. Coming up, we're going to hear from the 13-year-old boy who was randomly attacked in Daytona Beach when a stranger came up and slashed his neck. We're going to hear from that victim right after the break. Also ahead at 4, people in Brevard County are not happy about a proposed natural gas facility at one of the busiest ports in the country. We are digging into this controversy coming up.
Coming up in the morning, a critical test for NASA.
We'll have updates on another practice mission for Artemis and why this one needs to end differently before they're cleared for a historic mission to the moon.
Plus, a push to make exercise more fun.
We'll see you for News 6 Morning starting at 6.
Welcome back to News 6 at 3. Orange Osceola State Attorney Monique Worrell called a press conference today to talk about what she called a public safety update.
Yeah, so we sent your Orange County community correspondent, Mike Valenti, out there to figure out what all of this was about. And Mike, turns out this has to do with funding for victims advocates, right?
Yeah, the acronym, you may know it as VOCA, but it's the Victims of Crime Act, established in 1984, provides money to groups who work with victims of crimes. But some of that might be in jeopardy right here in the Ninth Judicial Circuit. Now, this is federal funding, but the State Attorney General, James Uffmeyer, has discretion on how that money is disseminated to support victim advocacy programs for things like medical care, counseling, funeral costs, and lost wages. State Attorney Monique Worrell says in October, her office and the AG's office agreed on the money that she had requested. Yet in December, only a couple months later, the AG's office revised the contract, slashing funding to support victims of domestic violence by 81%. That's despite the fact that domestic violence, according to Worrell, is the most common type of crime in the judicial circuit, with about 11,000 cases last year alone. Instead, Attorney General Uffmeyer shifted money to account for victims of child physical abuse or neglect, even though there were only 46 such victims last year.
Victims cannot be punished because the Attorney General doesn't like the outcome of the last Ninth Circuit election for state attorney.
So suffice it to say, Worrell has not signed this revised contract. She argues that signing such a contract where her office could not meet the deliverables outlined in the AG's modification could result in penalties, possibly, for noncompliance. She's instead urging the AG's office to restore funding to what was originally approved last October. We did just hear from the Attorney General's office within the last half hour or so. The Deputy Press Secretary is saying, quote, "The VOCA grant funds are available whenever State Attorney Worrell is ready to sign the contract." She notes that the AG's office is offering more than double the amount Worrell's office requested last year. And the Deputy Press Secretary is saying, quote, "We hope she does the right thing." So, guys, just another episode in a long simmering feud between Worrell and James Uffmeyer.
Constant back and forth these days. All right, Mike Valenti, thanks.
Well, on Monday, News 6 was the first to break the news of a 13-year-old boy whose neck was slashed by a total stranger in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, he and his family were visiting the Daytona Beach boardwalk area when all of this happened. Your community correspondent, Alex Cook, spoke with the boy to hear what happened in his own words.
I was on the phone at the time, and then some crazy dude comes from behind me and he tries to cut my throat.
Daytona Beach police say this man, Jermaine Long, walked up and slashed that boy in the throat. He's got a long rap sheet of violent crime. 13-year-old Sullivan Clark recalls that moment he was attacked.
While I was on the phone, I had turned my head up to look at the slingshot thing, and then boom! Before I knew it, he had cut me. He missed my jugular though. He just ran out. I didn't even see him. I didn't know what he looked like or anything.
Clark's mom called 911.
My son was like somebody cut his throat.
1 more millimeter, and he, probably wouldn't have made it.
Clark was rushed to the hospital and got 13 stitches in his neck. He said this incident isn't going to stop him from visiting Daytona Beach in the future, but he is worried about violent crime.
I don't really have any problems with Daytona. I just think, got to get those people off the streets,
Long now sitting in Volusia County Jail with no bond, charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. In Daytona Beach, Alex Cook, News 6.
It really is a miracle that he is doing as well as he is, able to talk with the media, share his story, because that could have been awful.
It's a really freaky story for people, especially if you're a parent or if you're a tourist in the area.
Just here visiting, and it happens just like that. Well, the race to replace Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is well underway, and already some of the ads are starting to be rolled out. You probably noticed some of them. Some Republican candidates are rolling out their ads, with South Florida Congressman Byron Donalds debuting an ad this week. Meantime, on the Democratic side, the party is looking to do something it has not done this century. We're talking about win the governor's race.
We've had 30 years of one-party control of this state, and all we have seen is more corruption, more chaos, more backroom deals coming from Tallahassee that's hurt our environment, that's hurt our public education system, that's hurt our safety nets, that's hurt our housing market, and the list goes on and on and on.
So more political ads was the big focus this week on Politically Motivated, our podcast that takes you inside the Florida legislature. Our morning anchor Lauren Melendez and Christopher Heath broke down just how much money politicians think your vote for governor is worth.
They're introductory because, to your point, people don't sit around thinking about Florida's 28 members of the United States House of Representatives. You've got to introduce yourself to voters because if you don't introduce yourself, your opponents will.
Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins is standing with Governor DeSantis.
Superstar of the future, Byron Donalds.
And to Christopher Heath's point, a lot of the people who are running are not very well known in the state of Florida right now. We have two top Republicans vying for the governor's seat right now. Here's a look first at the one from Florida, Congressman Byron Donalds. He is spending $1 million on a round of ads focusing on him being endorsed by President Trump. And then there is the dark money PAC that funded $2.5 million worth of ads for Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins. Now, those are really honing in on the fact that he was appointed by Governor DeSantis and touting his military background. Now, key dates in the governor's race are August 18th for the primary and November 3rd for the general election.
They put those ads out there, they test them to see how they're doing, and if they're getting a little more
resonate with the
name
voters.
recognition from them, and then they'll start rolling out other ads to try to tweak from there. It's an interesting process to see. Some tougher steps to qualify for unemployment have passed the Florida House. We'll see what happens in the Senate, but this could be a big deal for some families in Central Florida. The Republican-controlled House voted 81-31 on the proposal that would disqualify claimants who do not contact a required number of employers weekly, don't appear for scheduled job interviews, or don't return to work when they're recalled after layoffs. The bill's sponsor says his proposal won't impact people with valid claims. He says the intent is to stop fraud.
This doesn't make it hard to get unemployment for somebody that has a valid claim. This bill stops the fraudulent stuff.
Now, of course, opponents say benefits shouldn't be made harder to access under the guise of fraud prevention that's already in place. Listen to this.
This is not a handout. This is actually your money that you have contributed with your employer to an insurance program to be there for you if you lose your job at no fault to your own.
Local Rep. Anna Escamani there. Floridians can receive a maximum of $275 in weekly unemployment benefits for 12 weeks. It's actually one of the lowest amounts in the country. The Senate version of the bill awaits action on the chamber floor, so we'll have to see what happens in the Senate, if anything. Well, more money is on the way to try to help return animals to their homes. Congressman Mike Herodopoulos, he announced he secured $1.75 million for the Scape Family Sea Turtle Care Complex at the Brevard Zoo. The nearly 13,000 square foot facility will include rehab and veterinary space to care for stranded, washback, sick, and hurt sea turtles. It's capable of providing both short-term and long-term care for these creatures, strengthening sea turtle rehab efforts, expanding research, they say, and ensuring hurt and sick turtles get the very specialized care they need. And it is, you can't just have anybody take care of these sea turtles.
No.
It is very specialized stuff.
And sticking with that theme of oceans and animals, this is kind of an interesting fact. Did you know that scientists actually say they know more about outer space than they do about our oceans here on Earth?
Crazy to think,
Isn't
right?
that crazy to think about? Yeah, well, it's true, but we want to show you some new video of what's being called a sleeper shark. Researchers captured this shark swimming along the bottom of the ocean. Specifically, this was in the Antarctic Ocean, where many experts thought the water was too frigid for sharks to survive. This 10 to 13 foot shark was found more than 1,600 feet deep, where the water temperature was a near freezing 34 degrees. Researchers say climate change and warming oceans could be driving sharks to those areas, or since the sleeper shark's population is likely very sparse and tough for humans to detect, they could have been there for a while and no one noticed it before. But just fascinating video, and it's really cool that we do now have newer technology that allows scientists to go to places that they've never been able to go before and get video like that. Looks like you can see like
little starfish
a little
kind of
starfish
thing
down there in the Antarctic in near freezing waters.
Yeah, 34 degrees and super deep. Interesting stuff that we know so little about sharks.
In general,
what they're
yeah,
doing
let
here.
alone the
It
oceans,
is
yeah.
pretty unbelievable. All right, well, we are getting a check of that forecast for you, including a cool down coming up after the break.
Plus, what rights do you have if someone is recording you while in public? We'll have that coming up.
Coming up in the morning, a critical test for NASA.
We'll have updates on another practice mission for Artemis and why this one needs to end differently before they're cleared for a historic mission to the moon.
Plus, a push to make exercise more fun.
We'll see you for News 6 Morning starting at 6.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Bill Ray Nissan Longwood. We do it the right way.
Welcome back. We want to take a live look outside at beautiful Mount Dora. You can see the lake is calm, just a few clouds out there. Really a pleasant afternoon. And we do have some pleasant weather in store for us, Julie.
Yes, if you like it on the warm side, you'll like
Check.
the next few days. Okay, and if you like it cold,
than you'll like early next week. But as we move through the next couple of days, we're talking about the warmest stretch we've seen really since November. We're feeling closer to early May as highs climb into the upper 80s for Friday and Saturday. We'll be nearing records both of those days, closing in on 90 in some spots. Normal high this time of year is right around 75. Here's a nice look outside for us right now. This is our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera where we're sitting at 80 degrees. Winds are coming in out of the west-southwest. That's helping to kick most of us right around that 80-degree mark just about everywhere. You can see winds gusting a little bit higher along the coast. We have seen a little bit of a sea breeze set up today, so that's why you're seeing that onshore component. And then as we head to tomorrow, we'll start to see a little bit more of an onshore component. Now, we do have some changes on the way, so let's take a look at this. This is our mid-level moisture map, and you see all the dry with that high pressure. Or all the brown. That means that we are dry. But heading into the weekend, you see that front by Sunday morning moving into our area. That bumps our rain chances up to 20% or 20 to 40%, depending where you are. That is what will also bring us that big cool down. So keep in mind, Saturday, we're talking about a lot of us near 90 degrees. Here's what it will look like when you wake up Tuesday morning. So Tuesday morning will be the coldest morning. We'll really feel the effects of that front coming through on Monday as well. So we'll wake up Monday, some of us in the 30s, most of us Monday in the 40s, and then we won't even get out of the 60s. And then by Tuesday morning, again, the average low this time of year is 55. We'll go to 33 in Ocala, 34 in the Villages, 39 in Orlando, and 45 in Cocoa Beach. So
I'm hearing gray and cold to start the week.
Okay, so a little gray on Sunday as the showers come through, but I think we'll see some sunshine for Monday and Tuesday. It does help with the mental aspect.
Yes.
It makes it less painful if you don't like the cold weather. I know some people, though, they do like a break from the heat. I'm not one of them.
Correct. Yeah.
So we had our little, our little bout of winter. So I think most of us were hoping that we would not have another one, but here we are. So here's your 7-day forecast. So for tomorrow, we'll go to 84, then Friday, 87. The record on Friday is 89. By Saturday, which is also the Orlando City home opener, 88 degrees. And then we see that cool down moving in behind that.
Okay, so enjoy the warm weather while we have it. Yeah.
And you can always keep up with all the changes on our free News 6 weather app. Just search WKMG in your app store.
Well, we've all gotten those messages. Our bank suspects some suspicious activity. Did you make this purchase? Now, these are meant to protect us, but it doesn't always work that way. We have investigator Lewis Bolden joining us now. You spoke to two people who did all the right things, and they're still out hundreds of dollars.
$950 to be exact. Matt, it started with a text message. They got that text message saying, "Is this your charge?" The bank declined it initially. But then it said, "Do you recognize this transaction, yes or no?" And they hit no, and somehow the charge still went through. And so, that was the look on their faces too.
That's very odd.
And so there were two smaller charges, like $1.15, $1.25, something like that. The bank refunded those, but they said in terms of the $950, they needed to file a claim. So they filed a claim, it was denied, and they did that about 8 times. So they have been dealing with this for about 3 months now. So they contacted us, we contacted Wells Fargo, and I basically submitted the same information that the couple had submitted. It took a couple of phone calls, a few emails, and 2 days. So we thank Wells Fargo for acting quickly, but now that money is back in their account. And Wells Fargo did send us this statement. They said, "We appreciate this matter being brought to our attention. After reviewing additional information, we are pleased we could resolve the issue and the money is back in our customer's account." So they didn't explain why it happened or how it happened, but they did refund that money, and that's what the couple was most worried
and
about.
it was a legit text messages, and they're sure they clicked no, I do not want this.
Wells Fargo, we sent them a screenshot of the text message, and they don't dispute it. They say that that's how it went through. Again, they didn't explain, I'm not sure why, how it happened or why it happened, but they did refund it in 2 days, really. So we applaud them for doing that.
At least in the end, they did the right thing.
Exactly.
Lewis Bolden, a good guy to call if you ever have a problem like that. Thank you.
Yep.
That is good to hear that they did the right thing.
So I taped that with Lewis earlier. He had to run out on another investigation, but interesting. And $900 took a lot of work and effort. Finally, they called
But they
Lewis
got their
and got
money
it back,
which is good.
Mhm.
All right, this next story is a little disturbing. Apparently, someone is out there recording video of women and children in public, then posting those videos on TikTok and making some disturbing comments about that.
So it's kind of a weird story here. The user claims these images are from a few different areas in Florida. Jacksonville, Palatka, St. Augustine are some of the places named here. So our Sophia Vitello, that's with our sister station in Jacksonville, takes a look at the case and what rights you have in instances like this.
Concerning, disturbing, creepy. Those are some of the ways people are describing the videos and pictures posted on this TikTok account, St. Augustine FLORID. We're blurring out the posts because they appear to show unsuspecting women and young children at low and inappropriate angles. Some of the posts are captioned with descriptions like virgin white girl, cute teenage girl, and sexy lady. These videos look to be taken in public places across Jacksonville, Palatka, and St. Augustine. There were at least 2 other accounts like this one, but TikTok creator Jason Goodrich helped get them taken down.
There's a man recording women without consent.
They definitely didn't look of age, so I was like, okay, we got to try to get this taken down. Especially the main one with the highest following. I think it was at like 1,600 or 1,700.
Wow. Local attorney Shannon Schott looked over the posts with me to see if there's anything that can be done aside from just reporting the page. Videos or photos of people just walking around in the general public is generally not going to be protected by any sort of law. There could be civil causes of action for what's called misappropriation, where he's using people's name and likeness in a commercial way, where he's trying to make money or become somewhat of an influencer using that.
Okay, so if you look up this account that we're telling you about, you find yourself on here, you possibly can pursue legal action. What if it's pictures and videos of minors? That's still legal because it's public?
Under Florida law, we don't have any sort of laws protecting minors. And there's space in the law to say that these girls should not be on the accounts, especially since it definitely has an undertone of sexual motivation.
My whole thought process is, if we can't do anything about it legally at the moment, if we can't get him arrested, make him as uncomfortable as he's making these women. If we make it known that he's going around doing all this, now everybody's on guard.
Yeah, so interesting story there, and we know as journalists, when people are out in public, anybody can see you. So
That's
basically,
right.
legally,
You don't really have a right to privacy because you're in a public place.
Now, if they're taking pictures and videos of you that are more inappropriate, like shots of your body
yes.
or things like that, it can get into more of the cyber stalking.
And that's when you should call law enforcement and let them investigate. But then, they were talking about people just profiting off of this. Well, that involves hiring an attorney, and that can be very lengthy and expensive. And so it's complicated, for sure.
It'd be nice if people just did the right thing and weren't so stinking weird.
Isn't that the truth? All right. A pizza joint is backing off a viral pie that they started baking a couple of weeks ago. And this is one that really grossed a lot of us out. We told you these guys started putting iguanas on their pizzas during that cold stretch earlier this year in Florida. People who brought in reptile meat could have it added as a topping. And this, of course, no surprise here, blew up on social media. But the shop's owner says, despite the popularity, they are scaling back, at least for now.
Scaling? I like what you did.
There you go. I did not intend for that to be that way. As they work through regulatory questions about serving this meat.
You don't need a recreational license to harvest iguanas because they're an invasive species, but apparently there's no statute for it.
So I guess he thought it would fall under a catch and cook allowance, I guess. He said they got about 1,500 calls for the specialty
No
pizza.
way. People were actually interested in eating it?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Unregulated meats. That's what people
Yeah,
are.
I mean, you
1,500
can.
people.
I mean, I've been to restaurants, though, where you catch your fish and they'll cook it for you. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I can see why he would think that
That's
that would
not
be
a
allowed.
fish. You see that thing flopping over there? That's not a fish.
Why would you want to eat that?
I have no idea.
Yeah. All right, after the break, why you may not want to hold on to your credit card rewards for too long. We're going to have that story coming up.
Wednesday evening traffic alert. Things get a little shifty out there, literally. Some lane shifts have happened. I-4 World Drive down that county line, Orange, Osceola County along I-4. We've known about this construction. Just make sure you are now aware when traveling through there. There was some stuff scheduled last night. We will see plenty of it. I-4 towards the attractions, you'll see some lane closures. Also 528 daytime construction, and then out here I-4 out by 528 and the Florida Turnpike. And then you can see overnight we will see a closure of the Florida Turnpike southbound as you approach the Osceola Parkway area. Follow the detour and you'll be good to go. I'm Trooper Steve with the News 6 Traffic Alert. Drive safely, and I'll catch you in the morning.
Okay.
If it feels like your credit card points don't go as far as they used to, you're not imagining it. Even if you're earning the same number of points or miles, their value has quietly been shrinking. Here's why. Credit card rewards are tied to airline, hotel, and retail programs, and many of those programs have raised the number of points required for the same flights, hotel nights, or merchandise. So, something that once cost 20,000 points may now cost 25 or even 30,000 points. And that's on top of regular inflation, which means higher prices across the board. The important thing to remember is this. Points are not like cash. Their value fluctuates based on program rules and real-world pricing. Card issuers don't always call this devaluation, but the results are essentially the same. Your rewards buy less than they used to. Some card issuers and rewards programs have also quietly changed transfer ratios, redemption options, or perks, making it harder to get top value unless you know the rules. Regulators have noticed. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has warned that sudden or unclear changes to rewards can leave consumers confused about what their points are really worth. So far, we've seen warnings, but no major changes. So what can you do? Experts say don't hoard your points. Use them sooner rather than later. Compare redemption values before you cash in. And remember, in many cases, simple cashback cards offer more predictable value than points and miles. Bottom line, your rewards didn't disappear. Their purchasing power, however, did. For Dollars and Cents, I'm Donovan Myrie.
I never keep track of that. Do you?
No, I'm the
No.
worst. I don't keep track of anything, except for the weather. We're, of course,
There-
getting ready
yes.
for News 6 at 4. I'm pretty good at keeping track of the weather. Beautiful day out there today, but by Friday and Saturday, we'll be closing in on 90, but we still have some 30s in the forecast. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas is tracking all of that for us as we head into News 6 at 4.
Talk about weather whiplash. I mean, from near
Yes.
record temperatures to down in the 30s. I'm not ready for this.
I know you hate the cold weather.
I know.
I'm not a fan either.
Yeah, oh well. We're going to have that for you coming up. Also coming up, our News 6 insiders are going out to Kennedy Space Center, and they're going to show us all that there is to see inside the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Really cool out there. You'll definitely want to check that out. News 6 at 4 starts right now.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at 4.
I am truly deeply sorry for your loss. What yours suffered.
We're following breaking news. A father will spend the next 37 years in prison for allowing his son to drive the family car, causing a crash that killed a woman and her 3 grandchildren.
And we'll get to that in just a minute. But first, our top story at 4. News 6 has learned the man accused of randomly attacking a boy in Daytona Beach was questioned by police earlier in the day for another violent act. Police reports show Jermaine Long chased and hit a man with a sledgehammer that morning before slashing a 13-year-old boy's throat.
But as your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed explains, he was originally let go for that.
When police finally arrested Jermaine Long after the attack outside the Slingshot ride here, it was actually the 3rd time police had made contact with him that day around the Main Street and Boardwalk area here. I requested and got the record showing the timeline. Daytona Beach police reports show on Saturday, Jermaine Long was trespassed from a location on South Hollywood Avenue around 8 a.m. 3.5 hours later, records show they were called again, this time to a 7-Eleven near the boardwalk where Long allegedly chased a man and hit him with a sledgehammer. Officers spoke with Long and the victim, but instead of making an arrest, they trespassed Long from the area. Then about 11 hours after that, police get the call Long randomly attacked and slashed a 13-year-old's throat near the Slingshot ride.
From the initial time of the call to the time he was in handcuffs was within a couple of minutes.
Video shared with News 6 shows his arrest. Police then 2 days later filed charges for the sledgehammer incident. I asked Daytona Beach Police Director of Operations Bill Rhodes about the wait.
I don't know the ins and outs of it at this point. It's being looked at.
Rhodes tells me they're currently reviewing the officers' initial investigations to find out why they didn't arrest him then. He says Long is well known to officers in the area.
He's got a pretty long criminal history, mostly all in Daytona Beach.
Just back in January, records show Long was arrested for allegedly trying to hurt 2 men with a knife and then hit them with a pole. Prosecutors dropped the charges, though, and he was released from jail just 4 days before Saturday's incident. The teen's parents shared with me this week they're concerned about how Long was free before attacking their son, and they want answers.
I don't know why he was walking around.
I'm told the state attorney's office is actually reviewing that case from January again, too. Now, Long will be back in court Thursday, where prosecutors will push to keep him in jail before his trial. I'm your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
Now to breaking news. A father convicted for allowing his teen son to drive the family car before a deadly crash will spend 37 years in prison. The judge handed down the sentence not long ago. News 6's Tylisa Hampton joins us live outside the courthouse in Osceola County. Tylisa, what is the latest there?
Well, the mood in that courtroom from earlier was very heavy. Many tears were shed by both families, specifically for that 1, 9, and 11-year-old that died in that crash. It was a total of 4 people that lost their lives. A lot of grief was in that room today. Ultimately, the judge decided that Richard Ferguson would be sentenced to 37 years in prison. Now, it was mentioned that the 68-year-old was not driving that night in 2023. However, a jury did find him guilty of vehicular manslaughter charges because he allowed his unlicensed teenager son to drive. Officials say Ferguson's 15-year-old son at the time sped through a stop sign and crashed into another car, killing a 50-year-old woman and those 3 grandchildren. Ferguson then and today has denied giving his son those keys, but he did state today that he should and could have done more to stop him. Ferguson's family gave their testimony in court that he was a loving father and that he remains a loving father. And they also made it a point to mention his health, and they claim that he has cancer. His attorney requesting for a lighter sentence, which we do know did not happen. However, during the victim impact statement, they said they still have not heard accountability from him even today and requested that maximum sentence. Ferguson did take the stand, and also the mother of the children gave her statement. Here's what they have to say.
Sorry. Yes, is there something I could have did more? Yes, like the district attorney said, why didn't I just pull off behind him and stop him? That's what I'm sorry for, because there is something more that I could have done. But as far as giving my son those keys, I never, ever gave my son those keys.
This man lived a full life that my children will never get to live. And so it makes me sick to sit here and hear stuff like that. My children were robbed of their life.
Now, as for the son, Rashad Ferguson, he is now 17 years old. He was found guilty to manslaughter charges and accepted a plea deal that will keep him in juvenile custody until he turns 19, which we do know is coming up soon. Now, it should also be mentioned that despite what happened in that courtroom today and the sentence that was gave, that the family did note while they were giving their victim impact statements, no matter what was handed down today, it would still not bring back the 4 lives that will forever be lost. Reporting for News 6, I'm Talisa Hampton. Back to you.
All right, Talisa, thank you. In Seminole County, no bond for a man accused of pointing a gun in a gym. This happened yesterday at the Crunch Fitness in Altamont Springs. That's right at 434 near Montgomery Road. According to an arrest report, Winston Medley went up to a group of guys exercising and told them they're weak and should lift more. Police say after the group walked to another area of the gym, Medley approached them again and pulled out a gun. That's when the group ran away. Investigators say Medley tried to shoot, but the gun did not fire. Medley is facing multiple charges, including attempted first-degree premeditated murder.
A law professor is now accused of breaking the law. He is facing 50 counts of child porn possession. 70-year-old Glenn Ehlers was arrested yesterday in Orange County. Today, he appeared in court where a judge gave him a $100,000 bond. Ehlers is listed as a professor of law on the website of Barry University. During his hearing, the judge says he can't return to the school or have any contact with minors. The Seminole County teacher accused of having a sexual relationship with a former student also faced a judge today. We told you about this as breaking news yesterday on News 6 at 4. Mackenzie McLean was a teacher at the Crooms Academy of Information Technology. According to an arrest report, the 49-year-old teacher groomed the student in 2024 by buying him and other students drugs and alcohol. Seminole County school leaders say as soon as they learned about her arrest, they placed her on leave. McLean was given a $20,000 bond. If she gets out, she'll have to wear an ankle monitor.
Earlier this week, we told you how 4 teens were hurt in a shooting at a restaurant. A bullet even passed through a woman's hair bun, narrowly missing her head. This happened Sunday afternoon at Sister Soul Food on South Paramore Avenue in Orlando. As your Orange County community correspondent Jana Manahalal shows us, that restaurant reopened today with the community turning out to show its support.
2 days after it was the scene of a shooting that injured 4 teens.
We just want to say thank you, and welcome back to Sister Soul Food.
Sister Soul Food offered prayer and reopened the restaurant.
We send our prayers, we send our thoughts, we send our regards to the families of the boys who were injured here. We wish them nothing but the best and safe recoveries.
During the prayer, Bishop Derek McCree focused on unity and accountability.
And I'm calling for all parents. Let's go back to accountability for our own children. Let's know where our kids at least are. so that we can be accountable for their locations.
On Sunday, bullets flew, breaking 3 windows and a TV. A bullet even went through Brecken Kerr Atkins' hair bun.
Auntie, they have a gun, and when I looked up, the bullets was already coming. Shot through the bun, went through the TV, into the wall.
Former Commissioner Regina Hill shared how important this restaurant is to the Paramore community.
They thought about, we gotta open these doors so people can eat. Because when you think about Sister Soul Food, it is truly a link to the community. You have people here that can't afford nutritious foods.
Part of the shooting was caught on this security camera. I have asked Orlando police for a copy of that video. When I get it, we'll bring it to you here and on clickorlando.com. For now in Paramore, I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Jana Manahalal, News 6.
A historic extended stay hotel is now dealing with damage from a driver crashing into it. This all happened at the 1876 Heritage Inn yesterday. That's on 1792, not far from Blue Springs Avenue in Orange City. News 6's Mark Lehman checked out the damage in Volusia County.
More than 50 people rely on the units at this extended stay hotel. Some are families with children, and now all of them are left with a sense of uncertainty. Now, security is here on property and keeping people away from this building, but you can see the damage there from where the car slammed into the hotel, all of this forcing people inside to evacuate. We were here last night as the Red Cross responded to the 1876 Heritage Inn. Volunteers have been working to help more than 50 people displaced, including 11 children. This all happened after a driver slammed into the hotel yesterday afternoon. Water and electricity were cut off to the 36 units here, and there are questions about the hotel's foundation. During all of this, the Red Cross opened an emergency shelter, but that facility is at a church in New Smyrna Beach, which is 28 miles away. One mother told us she appreciates the help, but staying at that shelter is unrealistic.
Our only option is an hour away to shelter. I have no car. I have 4 kids. I have a job I have to go to by 11 o'clock in the morning. And how am I supposed to do all that when I've based my life within these 2.5 miles? It works for us.
Christina Rowletson said she has no choice but to stay in the area, so she's unsure what she's going to do for the time being. And out here today, we are expecting crews to take a closer look at the damage to see what kind of repairs can be made and what that timetable looks like. Meanwhile, the Red Cross says they will be providing more information on the help they are offering to the people displaced here as it becomes available. Reporting in Orange City, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Today, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg went to court in Los Angeles to testify in a social media trial, and the outcome could have a sweeping impact. The plaintiff, a woman with the initials KGM, alleges that Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube were intentionally designed to be addictive. At one point, Zuckerberg testified that Instagram has now shifted away from time spent on the platform as a goal. The plaintiff's attorney responded, saying when KGM was about 10 years old, the goal was to increase time spent, adding that is what is relevant. In a statement, Meta says it strongly disagrees with the allegations, citing its commitment to supporting young people with built-in protections.
Now to outrage over a liquefied natural gas plant.
What leaders are doing to address concerns about a controversial development and what could happen next. That's coming up.
Plus, our day trippers are showing you how you can get an out-of-this-world experience at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex.
Pretty nice afternoon, certainly on the warmer side again. Temperatures getting back into the 80s, some of us into the middle 80s. We're going to head towards the upper 80s over the next few days. We're going to talk about that part of your forecast coming up at about 4:17.
You're watching News 6 at 4 as we take a live look at our camera in Daytona Beach. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
Hey, space fans.
Today we're in Brevard County checking out the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex.
And this place is next level, or should I say out of this world?
How cool would it have been to just be a part of this?
We are a world-class education attraction here at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. During a day here, you're going to learn all things about space, NASA and their missions, and NASA space partners.
There is so much to do.
Mission success rate was 0.
From hands-on exhibits to behind-the-scenes bus tours, even rides. It's all about getting you as close to the space program as possible without actually strapping you to a rocket yet. So one of my first stops was Gateway, a brand new way to see where spaceflight is headed next.
You're going to learn everything that you can about NASA, along with NASA space partners like SpaceX, which is a booster we have right behind us. This booster actually went to space twice.
But the highlight of my day was checking Meet an Astronaut off my bucket list. I got to talk with Captain Winston Scott, who spent years as a NASA astronaut, to hear what it's really like to live and work in space.
I had the pleasure to fly 2 space shuttle missions. I flew for 9 days on board the shuttle Endeavour and then 16 days on board the shuttle Columbia. First of all, the ride to orbit is incredible. You go from 0 miles per hour on the pad to 17,500 in only 8.5 minutes. And then you completely orbit the Earth every 90 minutes.
After that, I hopped on the bus for a behind-the-scenes tour. We drove past all of the NASA buildings and out to the brand new viewing gantry overlooking the launch pads. And that's where I spotted Artemis II on the pad.
Now they're just moving it. Okay, that's super cool.
For those who don't know, Artemis II is NASA's next mission to send humans around the moon, which is a huge step forward for space exploration.
Rocket.
Right now, for a very limited time before the launch, you can actually see the rocket on the launch pad.
And if you want to catch the launch live, like I know I do, they have launch tickets available at the Banana Creek launch viewing area or the Saturn V building. By the end of the day, I learned this place isn't just about learning about space. It's about getting close enough to feel it. From the rumble of the simulators, let's go, to the stories of people who've actually been there.
You know, this is not a museum where you go and see dead stuff. Here you go and do things. You know, and our theme is discover something real.
So if you're planning a visit, Winston makes it easy.
All you do is go online and go to the Space Center and click on what you want. Your standard ticket will allow you to visit and meet astronauts. Bus tours, the bus will take you all over the Space Center, out to the pads, out to the Saturn V Center. You can walk underneath an actual Saturn V rocket. You can touch a moon rock.
That's so cool, it's a moon rock.
So whether you're a space nerd like me or just looking for a fun day out, the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex is definitely worth the trip.
You should have been an astronaut.
Well, that's it for today, Insiders. Make sure you head to clickorlando.com/insider to check out what Joey and Kaya did while I was out on the Space Coast.
It really is worth a visit
Yes.
out there. And if your trip can line up with a space launch, lucky
Yeah.
you. I know a
Yes.
local school just went on a field trip there. They got to spend the night and sleep under Shuttle Atlantis. And then they
Holy
got
cow.
up and saw Crew 12 lift off.
Well, I want to go on that field trip.
No kidding.
That sounds
That's
great.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Today would be a good day for a lift
It would.
off. Yeah.
It would. Yeah, temperature is nice and warm if you like it on the warmer side. Had some clouds earlier today. Those are breaking up as we lose the sunshine tonight eventually. Here's a live look with our Light Orlando delivering Hope Skycam this evening, and we continue to talk about our gradual warm up into our really big warm up before our really gigantic chill again that slides in early next week. A lot of ups and downs. 81 degrees at the airport, the breeze out of the south and west. I was talking about that yesterday. We would start to see the wind more southerly and then southwesterly to pump in the warmth. We will continue to increase that over the next couple of days to get our temperatures back into the upper 80s. That's going to be record territory by Friday and Saturday. 79 right now in Mount Dora, nice and comfy in Palm Coast. We are at 78, 80 degrees in Daytona Beach. Denellen, good evening. We are back to 78 degrees as well. Now, tomorrow morning, we are going to start things off right around 60 across most of the area. Kissimmee, back to St. Cloud, we're at 61, mid-50s for us in Palm Coast. Now, here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Renewal by Anderson.
Pretty much the same ballpark as we were today, maybe a degree or two warmer across the area. 84 in the Villages. Daytona, we're at 80. Titusville, Mims, good evening. We're back to 84 degrees. Rain chance is still at 0%. We'll see a few of those puffy clouds back in the picture again, just like what we saw or what we're seeing out there right now. There we go. As we move to the overnight hours, we are looking pretty dry again. Some patchy fog in spots. Otherwise, I think we're pretty good. There's lunchtime on Thursday. Otherwise, we just have a passing cloud or two, just like what we see out there today. We are going to be dry through the next couple of days, and rain chances, as you'll see on the 7-day forecast in just a second, are pretty limited. Fast forwarding into Saturday, again, this is where we jump right into record territory. High temperatures are going to surge into the upper 80s. That's going to be for Sunday. If you're heading out to the home opener, Orlando City, kicking off the season, we're back to the mid-60s. We'll be a little bit breezy as well. 64 degrees as we get towards 8 o'clock into the evening. Otherwise, things are looking very, very nice. It should be on the drier side again all the way up until Sunday, until we get into our next system. This is where things change a little bit. Fast forwarding out till Saturday afternoon, and you see all the orange and red there. That is the warmth building through the weekend, out ahead of our next cold front. That slides right on down. And then you see the blue come right on back into Central Florida. That's that nice big chunk of colder air that comes right back down again. Does not last too terribly long, but it will certainly be a shock to the system after this. We're getting back to the record territory on Friday and Saturday. Again, the home opener with the Orlando City team back in play. 80 degrees on Sunday, rain chances at 40%. There is the big change. I think you can spot that one. 40 is when you wake up on Monday. 30s and low 40s on Tuesday morning. We're back to the 70s, guys, by Wednesday.
A shock is one word, Jonathan. It's going to be pretty startling out there. A high school is trying something different to stop students from vaping.
But parents say it's not fair to those following the rules.
Don't punish the children that need to use the restroom. Go after the students that are bringing in the vapes.
The school that's doing targeted bathroom closures next. Here's a live look in Brevard County from Port Canaveral. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Light Orlando.
Well, apparently vaping is becoming such a big problem when high school is going to do targeted restroom closures.
Melbourne High School leaders sent an email to parents last week. It said they need to close the bathrooms to keep an eye on students because of vaping concerns. Parents say the policy is punishing students who follow the rules rather than addressing the root of the problem. One mom said the limited access has made her daughter's school day more stressful.
So she's talked to me about it. She says it's complicates things. She has to worry about how many passes she has in each class that she can use to use the restroom because there's not enough time in between classes. The kids only have 5 minutes in between classes to get to class. It's a large campus. And then they have to worry about trying to find a bathroom in between.
Parents say they got a similar message about bathroom closures last year. They're calling on the school to come up with a permanent solution to address vaping.
Isn't there like a vaping smoke detector? I feel like there needs to be.
I think there is. Yeah,
maybe
some
they need
schools
to
do have those.
install something like that instead of shutting it all down.
Yeah, they need to do something. We've all gotten those text messages. Your bank suspects suspicious activity, and they ask if you recognize the charge.
A couple got 2 of those messages, and even though they tried to dispute it, they still lost nearly $1,000.
We appreciate your help with it so much. Investigative journalism is super important. We appreciate you very much for all your hard work.
How we were able to help them get their money back, that's coming up.
Neighbors outraged that they could be living close to a liquefied natural gas plant get their chance Wednesday night to talk face-to-face to those behind the project. I'm your Cape Canaveral community correspondent, James Sparvero. I have details of the important meeting coming up.
Welcome back. We're following several top stories right now.
News 6 has learned police questioned the man accused of attacking a boy in Daytona Beach earlier the same day for another violent act. Police reports show Jermaine Long chased and hit a man with a sledgehammer that very morning. Long has another hearing set for tomorrow where prosecutors will push to keep him in jail before trial. In Osceola County, a father convicted of allowing his teenage son to drive the family car before a deadly crash will spend the next 37 years in prison. The judge handed down the sentence in the last hour. During the sentencing, families on both sides gave emotional testimony. In Seminole County, no bond for a man accused of pointing a gun inside a gym. This happened yesterday at the Crunch Fitness in Altamont Springs. Winston Medley is facing multiple charges, including attempted first-degree premeditated murder.
It's a big night for a community that doesn't want a plant that makes rocket fuel less than a mile from their neighborhood. Your Cape Canaveral community correspondent James Sparvero has been telling us about this controversial development for a few months now. James shows us where a new meeting will take place in the next half hour to address more concerns.
Neighbors outraged that they could be living close to a liquefied natural gas plant get their chance Wednesday night to talk face-to-face to those behind the project.
If it blows up, I have no idea what's going to happen to us.
From December, when I first told a neighbor about this proposal, to last month, when more spoke up at a Port Canaveral Commission meeting,
I'm not just worried, I'm horrified.
the community's efforts to stop two companies from buying the port's vacant land on Merritt Island's Barge Canal will bring them here to the Cape Canaveral Community Center.
We've been trying to interact with as many folks as possible.
Alex Nye with Chesapeake Utilities told me he'd feel safe living close to the plant. He says LNG is the future for space and maritime industries, and right now, none of it's made here.
The residents' concerns is the location. Some have asked, why not put it closer to the Space Center?
Sure, and we've looked at a number of sites, and this one is most advantageous on a number of different fronts, including access to the water.
The port hasn't voted yet whether to sell the land the plant would be on. CEO Captain John Murray has said while the port doesn't use the land on the canal now, it might be useful for the port's interests in the future.
It seems like a no-brainer for you residents that this shouldn't be built, but the port's taken its time to consider all its options.
It's a little simpler for us. It's open and shut. Too close.
After Wednesday night's meeting here hosted by the project leads, I found out the community's organizing its own meeting to talk more about fighting this proposal. If you want to go to that meeting too, I'll put the full details on clickorlando.com. In Brevard County, I'm your Cape Canaveral community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
In Lake County, a woman fell to her death from the 429 onto State Road 46. This happened near Sleepy Bear Lane. Troopers say the victim is 49 years old. They have not released her name. The cause of the fall is under investigation.
Today, the man accused of killing 3 tourists in Kissimmee was supposed to be in court, but he refused to go. A hearing was scheduled where a judge was set to formally read his charges. That was put on hold because his lawyers claim he's not competent to continue. Your Osceola County community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez was in the courtroom as the state and his legal team discussed what comes next.
Just over a month after investigators say he shot 3 men to death outside of a rental home here in Osceola County, Ahmad Boje refused to come to his court date, and his legal team says he isn't fit to stand trial.
If he has a court date, he needs to be here.
What was supposed to be a hearing for Boje to enter a plea ended with the doctor being appointed to evaluate his competency. Boje is accused of shooting 3 tourists staying at an Airbnb on Indian Point Circle on January 17th. They were visitors from Ohio attending a local car show. Deputies arrested Boje, who lived in the home next to the rental. On Wednesday, his attorney requested a competency evaluation for the 29-year-old, as they have reason to believe he's not able to proceed. Because Boje didn't show up, the state requested he be brought into future court dates by any means necessary.
He did get up to eat, go to the bathroom. So he is capable of getting up. He is treating, as we have today, he is refusing to appear for court today.
But his attorney felt it would be harmful to him and insisted it be on a case-by-case basis, and the judge agreed.
At whatever point the court determines I have to have him in the courtroom and he's not compliant, then I will issue the necessary order.
In 2022, Boje stood trial for attempted murder, accused of shooting at a person and at random vehicles at a Kissimmee gas station. He was acquitted by reason of insanity and was barred from owning a gun. Those living in the community questioned whether this shooting was avoidable.
To think that, there was a school right behind us. And someone who had actually been, I don't understand, acquitted because they were insane and they're living in my neighborhood? How does the justice system let that happen?
The Osceola County Sheriff called Bojay a threat to this neighborhood and said deputies had been to his home 41 times. Bojay will have a competency status hearing in April. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Reverend Jesse Jackson shared the reflections and remarks on the civil rights activist's life and legacy this morning in Chicago. The family described Jackson as a man who fought for others until his last days, even when his health declined. His children came forward as caregivers. It was their way of returning the care he had shown to so many throughout his lifetime. Their words were rooted in faith and gratitude while thanking everyone who has given them prayers over the last couple of months as he continued to deal with health issues.
Our father is a man who dedicated his life to public service, to gain, protect, and defend civil rights and human rights, to make our nation better, to make the world more just, our people better neighbors with each other.
Do not bring your politics out of respect to Reverend Jesse Jackson and the life that he lived to these homegoing services. Come respectful and come to say thank you.
They say they plan to have a celebration of life that includes a period of him lying in repose at the headquarters of the Rainbow Push Coalition and hope to find a church that will be big enough to hold thousands of people. The details are expected to be released later today.
Taking a live look at the Capitol, it's day 5 of the partial government shutdown. Both sides say the ball to end the impasse on Department of Homeland Security funding is in the other's court. Erica Brown has the latest from Capitol Hill.
As the partial government shutdown continues, the White House rebuffed the latest proposal from congressional Democrats to end the stalemate and fund the Department of Homeland Security.
Last night, they sent over a counterproposal that frankly was very unserious, and we hope they get serious very soon because Americans are going to be impacted by this.
Democrats remain firm in their demands for significant reforms to ICE and DHS oversight, including requiring federal agents to get judicial warrants before entering private property and remove masks during operations.
Republicans have decided that they would rather shut down FEMA, shut down TSA, and shut down the Coast Guard than get ICE under control.
So far, negotiations to end the impasse are only taking place among staffers, with Democratic leaders and the president still not engaging in direct talks.
It doesn't mean he's not willing to. I'm just not aware of any conversations that have taken place.
I'm not averse to sitting down with any high-level members of the administration if, in good faith, they are prepared to discuss the type of dramatic changes that are needed.
In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security warned a prolonged shutdown would impact more than 200,000 DHS employees and could lead to disruptions with the TSA, FEMA, and the Coast Guard. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Florida is still eyeing a mid-decade redrawing of its congressional maps, even as some state leaders are voicing concern. Last month, the governor called for a special session to redraw the state's 28 congressional districts. The move comes after Texas, Virginia, and other states move forward with a mid-decade redistricting. But some are now questioning how robust the redraw will be. A few Republicans are voicing concerns that the maps may end up making them more vulnerable, especially if the Democratic gains from recent elections play out in November. We spoke with the chair of the Florida Democratic Party about it.
They gerrymandered and redistricted Texas is where it started. And you saw the backlash. And the same thing is happening here. You've got a lot of congressional members, including some that are coming up to Tallahassee to lobby against redistricting.
Earlier this month, the group filed a lawsuit with the Florida Supreme Court, arguing the governor and Secretary of State lack the legal authority to alter election maps.
In Kissimmee, leaders are moving forward with allowing voters to decide if they can serve longer terms. Your Osceola County community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez told you about the meeting yesterday on News 6 at 4. During last night's vote, leaders voted 4-1 to put a charter amendment on the August ballot. It would allow commissioners to serve 3 consecutive 4-year terms. That means they could be on the city commission for up to 12 years. Right now, they can only serve 2 terms. If voters say yes, the change would take effect immediately. Some Some say they like the idea because leaders will be able to stay in office long enough to see policies through. Others say 2 terms is enough.
I think it could be good because sometimes it takes a couple years for permits and plans to get finalized, and then with a re-election, if that board member, committee member is no longer on it, it's kind of difficult to continue those plans and it could get changed up.
It's a little massive and unfair to other people that might have the same qualities or even better than someone else.
Last night, leaders also voted to require background checks for all candidates.
People along the coast will not get to vote on a ban on recycling sewage water into tap water.
We'll explain why coming up and what this means for the future of what's known as toilet to tap.
We've all gotten those messages. Our bank suspects suspicious activity, and do we recognize the charge? A New Smyrna Beach couple got one of those messages, and even though they disputed the charge, it still went through, costing them nearly $1,000. I'm investigator Lewis Bold, and we're digging into how it happened coming up.
Warmer today. We're going to continue that warm up right on through the end of this work week into the weekend. We'll talk about when records could fall coming up at about 4:47.
And before we head to break, we want to remind you to check out our primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. We have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Go in depth as we answer your weather questions at 9:30. Then watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
Well, we've all gotten those messages. Our bank suspects suspicious activity, and do we recognize the charge? It's meant to protect your money. I'm News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden. A New Smyrna Beach couple got one of those messages, and even though they disputed the charge, it still went through, costing them hundreds of dollars. They came to me for help.
I think the bank should have protected me in that situation, and they didn't.
Austin and Jessica Reeves are still trying to figure out how $950 came out of their bank account for a charge they say they never made.
It was clear fraud.
Their bank, Wells Fargo, thought it was fraud too. They got this high priority notification in their account from fraud detection. The subject, we've detected some unusual activity. At the same time, they got this text message. Do you recognize the decline transaction of $950 to Coinbase on card 3585? Reply yes or no. Reeves replied no. It came back invalid command and the charge went through.
I was really confused because I thought as soon as you say no, they should shut your card off right away.
According to bank statements, the bank initially declined the $950, but 4 minutes later it was approved. Before the $950, there were also two smaller transactions to Coinbase that the Reeves say were not theirs either. They say the bank refunded those immediately, but not the $950.
What do you think should happen here?
I think I should have got reimbursed right away for the $950 because I said no.
The couple filed a claim with Wells Fargo, which was denied. The reason given? Based on our investigation, we confirmed that the card used was in your possession when the claim was filed, and the shipping address provided to the merchant matches the address we have on file.
I think in today's age, we know that you don't need the physical card to use somebody's card.
So many data breaches, there's so many ways that a card could get compromised.
The day after the $950 came out of their account, the bank declined a $200 Coinbase charge, and 2 days later, two $50 Coinbase charges were also declined according to statements.
Do you feel like your money is protected?
I don't at all.
The Reeves have been trying to get their money back for 3 months now, so we've reached out to Wells Fargo for them. It took a couple of phone calls, a couple of emails, and a couple of days. But the company then sent us this statement saying, in part, we appreciate this matter being brought to our attention. After reviewing additional information, we are pleased we could resolve the issue and the money is back in our customer's account. So we circled back to the Reeves.
We appreciate your help with it so much. Investigative journalism is super important. We appreciate you very much for all your hard work.
Lewis Bolden, News 6.
That just warmed my heart the way he said that to Lewis.
Very nice. That's why we do the work we do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas is here. Jonathan, it's Wednesday. We're on the countdown to the weekend.
We are. If you like it warm, then we are certainly on the countdown. But if you like it on the colder side, winter's not over yet. A little bit of something for everybody over the next 7 days. Weak cold front back off towards our north and west. It's the stronger one that's sitting way back there. That's the one that we are going to contend with a little bit later on. But out ahead of it, you see the green lines on your screen. That is the wind direction. And we are pumping in some of that warmth right now. And that will just continue to build going forward as we move through the weekend, as Julie mentioned, before we get into that colder stuff coming early next week. A little breezy in Titusville, 15-mile-per-hour wind gust, about a 20-mile-per-hour gust in Cocoa Beach. We're keeping things just a little breezy in Leesburg as well. Nothing too crazy, but you'll notice the breeze every now and then, and that breeze is helping to dry things back out again. And with the latest drought numbers coming in, we'll get the official drought index tomorrow, but nonetheless, we can track the daily numbers every single day with the Keach Byram Drought Index. And it's the little number here that we're now watching again after the nice, refreshing feel of the rain that we got Sunday night into early Monday. We're back on the rise. We've now doubled the numbers again over the last couple of days. 500 for perspective. If you're just seeing this for the first time, that's kind of the number where counties start to enact the burn ban. So that's kind of perspective. We want to stay way below that number, and we are, of course, not. Here's a live look outside Port Canaveral, Brevard County with our Launch Credit Union camera. We have air temperatures back into the upper 70s right now under a mainly clear sky at the port. There's that breeze again. Nothing too crazy, but a little breezy every now and then at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. 56 when you wake up tomorrow morning in Palm Coast. Wildwood, good evening. Tomorrow morning, starting things off nice and mild in the low 60s. Again, that's starting to run anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees above where we should be in the morning. So we're going to start this trend now of warming up our mornings in addition to the afternoon, which gets us now back into the low to mid 80s again, maybe a degree or two warmer than where we were today. And most of us got into the lower 80s today. Rain chances staying at 0%. Just like today, we'll bubble up those extra clouds again in our sky with the warming of the day. We are warming up courtesy of this big chunk of high pressure that's building over Mexico. It then takes a trip back over towards the Bahamas into the Turks and Caicos. And it, for now anyway, keeps all of the cold air kind of bottled up across the northern tier of the country and then certainly out west. But then watch what happens. It's going to depart further back out into the ocean. There's Monday morning. This big dip in the jet stream comes back. And that is what sends us the chill as we move into the early part of Tuesday. Cold enough again for some frost and freeze concerns. I know we're doing this again, but it's not going to be as widespread, long-lived, or as intense. Again, this beige or this purple color here, the darker purple, as we get in towards Tuesday morning, that's the freeze potential. That's mainly going to be held to the northwest of I-4. If the wind settles down enough, then we'll have the frost potential throughout most of central Florida west of I-95. But this is going to be kind of a 1 or 2 night deal, and then we are going to warm things back up again quickly. Speaking of warm up, record warmth possible Friday into Saturday. There comes the crash, though. By the time you wake up on Monday morning, potential for that frost and freeze again early Tuesday. Back to the 70s, guys, by Wednesday.
Jonathan, thanks. You know, we love to see what you're seeing. So open your camera app and scan the QR code you see right there on your screen and click the link. We'd like to see your weather pictures and videos. And of course, you know, I love your pet pictures. They could end up on TV. You can also go to clickorlando.com/pins and upload your pictures and videos that way. Voters along the coast will not get a say on the Toilet to Tap initiative, at least for now.
The decision leaders just made and what it could mean for your future water supply. That's next. Plus, career experts have a warning before you turn to AI for your professional headshot. Why they say it could lower your chances of getting a job. That's next as we take a live look at Mount Dora. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
Coming up in the morning, a critical test for NASA.
We'll have updates on another practice mission for Artemis and why this one needs to end differently before they're cleared for a historic mission to the moon.
Plus, a push to make exercise more fun.
We'll see you for News 6 Morning starting at 6.
If you live in Volusia County, you will not get a vote on whether to allow what's known as the Toilet to Tap Water Initiative where you live. The program recycles sewage water into drinking water. The plan is being promoted in several areas in the state because of water shortages due to rapid growth and development. One version of the initiative pumps highly treated sewage water back into the aquifer. Last night, the Volusia County Council rejected putting the idea before voters this August by a vote of 4-3. Despite the decision, the county currently has no plans to implement toilet to tap. So what do you think about all this? We have a poll going on right now on clickorlando.com. When it comes to toilet to tap, would you drink highly treated sewage water? So far, a majority says no. Tell us what you think on this poll or post your comment in the comment section.
Now to a warning before you use an AI-generated headshot for your professional profile.
Career experts say it may have a negative impact on your job search.
A recent study shows nearly 44% of people would consider using an AI-generated photo of themselves. Career experts say the appeal is clear. They're fast, easy, and far cheaper than traditional photo sessions. But there are risks you need to know about. Images that look unnatural or overly edited can raise red flags with employers.
You risk the idea of corporate catfishing. AI tools can cause a rubbery or plastic-like effect on your skin. A poorly edited AI headshot is going to trigger a lack of trust from the recruiter immediately.
Platforms like LinkedIn recommend keeping profile photos authentic. Experts say if you do use AI, stick close to reality and always double-check those details.
I mean, that's the thing, right? At some point, you're likely going to have to do an interview and meet someone in person, and they're expecting to meet someone who looks like whatever picture you sent them.
Right, someone flawless with no pores. News 6 at 5 is coming up next.
Anchor Matt Austin is in the newsroom with what's ahead.
Just wear a lot of makeup. That's what we do in the news business. In Sanford, investigators now looking into a pretty disturbing video that went viral. Shows an interaction between a man and his stepdaughter, plus a tool of political retribution, the battle over funding that could have major impacts for victims of crime. And a law professor on the other end of the law now, arrested for allegedly having child porn, right? Prosecutors say there could be much more than what he's charged with here. Your forecast is only minutes away. Don't forget, you can stream all of our newscasts and live cameras like this look at Daytona Beach for free anytime on News 6 Plus. We'll be right back.
Sanford police say it's a disturbing interaction, but is it criminal? The viral post that has now prompted a state investigation.
Mr. Ferguson's negligence was criminal, that it was gross, that it was flagrant, that it was in reckless disregard for human life.
37 years. A father learns his fate after a deadly crash involving his son, and victims of crime could soon be fighting for help. The battle between the state AG and a county prosecutor, leaving many vulnerable. You're watching News 6 at 5.
Let's start with some breaking news. We just learned when the Pulse nightclub in Orlando will be torn down. Demolition will begin on March 18th. We've also learned the iconic Pulse sign will be removed March 10th. That sign will be put in storage. The demo will make way for a permanent memorial for the 49 people killed at that nightclub back in 2016.
Also at 5 tonight, a video behind me here that you might find very difficult to watch. The woman who posted it and shared it with News 6 is actually a concerned family member and says it shows a man mistreating his stepdaughter.
Now, this video went viral on social media this week, and we know many of you want some answers about this. So Sanford police are addressing it publicly, launching a full investigation. Your Seminole County community correspondent, Catherine Silver, is taking a closer look at what happened and how authorities are now responding to this video. Catherine?
First, it's important to note that no one has been arrested. That decision is now in the hands of the state attorney's office. Sanford police handed their case over to them today. Police say that video is sensitive in nature. We have blurred parts of it that are hard to watch and because of the children involved. You're watching a family's driveway through the eyes of a security camera.
My niece is standing behind my grandma's car, and he yokes her up, grabs her by her hood, and slams her in the car.
All right? I'm gonna you up. Leandra Chapman says this is her 9-year-old niece and the girl's stepfather. We're not sharing his name or showing his face because at this point he's not facing any criminal charges. Then later there's this video.
Yes. He walks up behind her, slaps her in the face and in the back of her head.
No, I listen all day.
Her older sister tries to help her, but he tells her to let her go.
Stop. No, move. No. Stop. You cannot. No, I'm tired of listening to this every day.
A lot of cussing, a lot of threats towards a child.
You behave, I beat out of you.
What led to you posting this video online?
When no arrests were made the first night.
That post prompted Sanford police to address the video publicly. First, they shared this statement saying they were notified Monday night, but the family had left the area already. Then they shared another statement with even more context, saying they were notified 2 hours after it had occurred. Had the family been on scene when officers arrived, an immediate arrest could have been made.
Maybe I should have called the police first. But when you see that, the first thing you're gonna think when your mind is clouded is go to the scene, go help your niece.
Don't put your hands on her no more. Got it?
I don't want to see kids in the system. I don't want to see kids separated from their parents, but I don't want to see kids being hurt either. So I want this to be like an eye-opener for everyone.
Police say that DCF is aware and they are looking into this matter as well. Prosecutors tell me they will be looking at every follow-up report from every agency involved before they make a decision. We're expecting a decision to be made about charges in the coming days. I'm live in Seminole County. Catherine Silver, News 6.
It's tough to watch, Catherine. Thank you. We posted this story on our website, clickorlando.com. There you can also read the full statement from Sanford Police. Look for Catherine's article on the homepage of clickorlando.com.
In Volusia County, we're learning the man accused of randomly slashing a teenager's neck here had been questioned by police about a separate attack earlier the same day. Daytona Beach police say Jermaine Long chased a man and hit him with a sledgehammer at a 7-Eleven near the boardwalk around noon. But instead of making an arrest, they trespassed Long from the area. About 11 hours later, police say he slashed that 13-year-old's neck near the slingshot ride. We're told Long is now going to be charged in the sledgehammer incident too. Your News 6 community correspondent, Molly Reed, is asking police why there was a delay. Hear what they told her coming up at 6 o'clock. The Seminole County teacher accused of having a sexual relationship with a former student faced a judge today. Mackenzie McLean was a teacher at Crooms Academy at Information Technology. According to an arrest report, that 49-year-old teacher groomed the student in 2024 by buying him and other students drugs and alcohol. Seminole County school leaders say as soon as they learned about her arrest, they put her on leave. McLean was given a $20,000 bond. If she gets out, she'll have to wear an ankle monitor.
The state attorney for Orange and Osceola counties is once again clashing with the state attorney general, Monique Worrell, today accusing James Uthmeier of using federal funding meant to help victims of crimes as a, quote, tool of political retribution. Let's get right out to your Orange County community correspondent, Mike Valenti. And Mike, Worrell says nearly $500,000 of funding is at stake here.
Yeah, that's right. The office at risk of losing nearly $500,000. This fight, this latest dispute between Uthmeier and Worrell boils down to a question over funding for victims of domestic violence and victims of child physical abuse.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here.
The acronym used over and over again in Worrell's briefing Wednesday was VOCA, stands for the Victims of Crime Act.
And those funds exist for one purpose, and that is to support victims of violent crime.
The federal VOCA funding goes to the state AG's office, and Uthmeier then doles out that funding to the individual circuits, which use the money to fund victim advocacy programs. Last October, Worrell's office submitted an application for VOCA funding based on her office's actual victim data, and she says the AG's office approved that application. But then a couple months later, in December,
without warning or explanation, that contract was changed.
In the version revised by the AG's office, funding was slashed for domestic violence victims by about 80%.
Even though domestic violence is the most common violent crime in our circuit.
Yet the AG's office increased funding to support victims of child physical abuse.
These numbers are detached from real data, unsupported by case volume, and impossible to meet.
Last year, victims advocates in the circuit served 46 victims of child physical abuse or neglect. Yet Worrell says the AG's office now expects her office to serve up to 1,000 of those type of victims this year. Not meeting those deliverables, Worrell fears, could result in penalties and jeopardize future funding. But in an email to her office, the AG staff says to Worrell they're not threatening to withhold future funding. Still, Worrell says she's not signing this contract. That puts this $500,000 in grant funding this year at risk. Now, in an email to us this afternoon, the deputy press secretary for the AG's office said, quote, the VOCA grant funds are available whenever State Attorney Worrell is ready to sign the contract, noting that the AG's office is offering more than double the amount Worrell's office requested last year, and says, quote, we hope she does the right thing. We're live outside the Orange County Courthouse. I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Mike, thank you. We want to take a live look now at Daytona Beach, where it's starting to feel more like springtime with some drier, warmer weather out there. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas has a look at what we can expect this week. And Jonathan, not a whole lot of relief in sight for our drought.
No, not at all. That's what we got Sunday night was it for a while. We do have a little bit of rain in the forecast as we get towards the weekend, but otherwise things are pretty dry. Nice clean sweep on the radar picture this evening. Otherwise, rain chances, as Lisa mentioned, are going to be pretty low, pretty much non-existent tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. They do go up on Sunday. That's our next system that does help to bring in that round of chilly air that we get to the early stages of next week. But nonetheless, not going to do much in the way of helping things out. Again, the burn ban status continues to be pretty much along I-75, including Polk County, Osceola, into Brevard, and then Flagler County as well. As last Sunday's rain was great, we need that several more times to help to get the drought situation under control. That new drought monitor comes out tomorrow. We'll be sure to share that with you. We'll talk about the chill coming up at about 5:17, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. In Osceola County, a man will spend the next 37 years in prison for a deadly crash that killed 4 people. All of this despite not being the one behind the wheel. A jury found him guilty back in October for giving his 15-year-old son the keys to the car. News 6's Tylisa Hampton joins us now outside the courthouse in Osceola County with more details on what happened
This portion
inside.
of the news is...
Well, Matt, that atmosphere was very heavy, and a lot of tears were shed on both sides for both family members. And a lot of people mentioned that the grief was especially felt for the 1, 9, and 11-year-old who died in that car crash. Ultimately, it was a total of 4 people who died, and as you said, Richard Ferguson was sentenced to 37 years in prison. Now, it should be said that the 68-year-old was not driving that night. Back in 2023, a jury found him guilty of vehicular manslaughter charges because he allowed his unlicensed teenager son to drive. Officials say Ferguson's 15-year-old son at the time sped through a stop sign and crashed into another car, killing a 50-year-old woman and those 3 grandchildren. Now, Ferguson then and today denied giving his son those keys, but stated that he should and could have done more to stop him. Ferguson's family members gave testimony in court today that he is a loving father and a man, and made it a point to mention that his health is deteriorating as he has stage 4 cancer. Now, his attorney requested a lighter sentence, which, as you can see, did not happen. However, during the victim impact statements, they did say that they did not feel like Ferguson had accountability or gave accountability, and they requested the maximum sentence. Ferguson's daughter gave her testimony, followed by Ferguson himself, and then the husband of the woman who died, he spoke, as well as the mother of the kids who died.
I'm sorry? He's loving, compassionate, a provider.
And not a single day goes by without me wishing I could undo what happened.
Each of us have been affected in our own way. We are still trying to adjust to a life that feels incomplete.
If you want to hug him, you can hug him. Guess what? If I want to hug my children, I have to hug a vase full of a pile of ashes that sit in my damn living room.
Now, as for the son, he pled guilty to manslaughter charges, and under the plea agreement, he will remain in juvenile custody until he turns 19, and then he will be under supervision until he turns 21. Now, also, it should be mentioned that a lot of the family members on the victim's side, they mentioned no matter the outcome of today and how many years were given, the lives that were taken, that can never be replaced. Reporting for News 6, I'm Talisa Hampton. Back to you.
Talisa, thank you. Tonight we are learning about Florida Attorney General's side job and his paycheck, and it's turning a lot of heads. So according to the Miami Herald, James Uthmeier has been teaching at University of Florida's Law School on Monday nights since August. His salary from the school, though, $100,000. That is 8 times higher than the average law school adjunct professor earns, and the highest paid adjunct professor at the law school in at least 25 years. The interim dean at UF's law school defended Uthmeier's pay, saying adjunct pay at the university is, quote, all over the map, with some instructors teaching for free while others have much higher salaries.
Definitely all over the map. That's true. Well, an Orange County community trying to return to some normalcy after a shooting near a popular business hurt multiple teens.
Still to come, the emotional reopening of the restaurant in Paramore that has a new focus of accountability in the neighborhood.
You're watching News 6 at 5 with a live look at Port Canaveral from our Launch Credit Union camera. Not a cloud in the sky out there. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Launch Credit Union.
4 teens injured in a shooting at a popular restaurant. One of the bullets passing through a woman's hair bun, narrowly missing her head.
Today, as your Orange County community correspondent Jana Manohalal shows us, the restaurant reopened with the community turning out to show support.
2 days after it was the scene of a shooting that injured 4 teens.
We just want to say thank you, and welcome back to Sister Soul Food.
Sister Soul Food offered prayer and reopened the restaurant.
We send our prayers, we send our thoughts, we send our regards to the families of the boys who were injured here. We wish them nothing but the best and safe recoveries.
During the prayer, Bishop Derek McCree focused on unity and accountability.
And I'm calling for all parents. Let's go back to accountability for our own children. Let's know where our kids at least are, so that we can be accountable for their locations.
On Sunday, bullets flew, breaking 3 windows and a TV. A bullet even went through Brecken Kerr Atkins' hair bun.
Auntie, they have a gun, and when I looked up, the bullets was already coming. Shot through the bun, went through the TV, into the wall.
Former Commissioner Regina Hill shared how important this restaurant is to the Paramore community.
They thought about, we gotta open these doors so people can eat. Because when you think about Sister Soul Food, it is truly a link to the community. You have people here that can't afford nutritious foods.
Part of the shooting was caught on the security camera. I have asked Orlando Police for a copy of that video. When I get it, we'll bring it to you here and on clickorlando.com. For now in Paramore, I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Jana Manohalal, News 6.
In the weather department, we're expecting one of these guys, right? Jonathan Kangas, our meteorologist, joining us.
What
now.
is that?
Going to go up, and then we're going to go down.
It looks like the stock market a
Right.
little bit. Yeah, the 7-day forecast. Temperatures right now nice and comfortable. If you like it on the warmer side, we're back in the lower 80s. Port Canaveral, Brevard County, beautifully blue skies out there. That is a live look with our Launch Credit Union camera this evening. Air temperatures nice and comfortable, back to the mid-70s. The breeze on the lighter side. Under that mainly sunny sky, we're at 78 degrees in Palm Coast. Denellen, good evening. We're back to 76. Kissimmee, we're at 82. Orlando checking in at 81 degrees as we continue to do that thing that Matt just made over the next couple of days. Now, tomorrow morning, we're back to the lower 60s in Mount Dora. Nice and comfortable start, warm start for us across the board. Now, here's a look at tomorrow. Temperatures into the afternoon going to get back into the lower 80s in Mount Dora, 84 degrees in Sanford. Oviedo, we're checking in at 84 degrees. Palm Coast hanging around 80 as well. Average this time of the year into the mid-70s. Rain chances back to 0% with just a few of those puffy clouds bubbling back up with the heating of the day. 69 by 10 o'clock if you're watching in Lake Mary and Heathrow. Good evening. We're back to 77 already by lunchtime. 82 degrees by 2. We're back to 84 by 4. Again, a few clouds early, and then we'll break free with a little more sunshine as we get deeper into the day as well. Temperature-wise across the plains and south and southeast, all of the warmth surging back into the mid-Atlantic. The big chill now back to the upper Midwest and then through the Rockies as that big pattern flip that we've advertised continues, and that's sending us the warmth. Gradually, though, the chill that's out west is going to make its way back into central Florida. That's going to be as we push our way back into the afternoon, into the evening as we get into Sunday, and then especially by the time you wake up on Monday morning. So there comes the front on Sunday. We're stopping this at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. A few scattered downpours going to be in the mix as this front starts to slide through. And then the drier air and the colder air slide right on back down the Florida Peninsula. So this is 10 o'clock on Sunday evening. That's when the chill arrives. And again, that's going to set us up for a pretty cold morning as we move into the afternoon on Monday and then again on Tuesday morning. 87 degrees on Friday, back to 88 on Saturday. That's also Orlando City's home opener. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be a little bit warm in the afternoon, but a very nice evening for the home opener. There are those rain chances up to 40%. We're still warm ahead of that front. Temperatures hanging around 80 degrees. And then there's the drop in the temperatures back to the 40s when you wake up on Monday morning. I think most of us are going to make a run for the 30s again on Tuesday morning. By Wednesday, though, we are back into the low to mid 70s.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Many credit cards offer reward programs that can come up clutch at times.
But what if the rewards were starting to cost you more? Next up on Dollars and Cents, Donovan Myrie takes a look at the trend of companies wanting more before you can cash in those rewards and why it's happening.
Your Wednesday evening traffic alert. Things get a little shifty out there. Literally, some lane shifts have happened. I-4 World Drive down that county line, Orange, Osceola County, along I-4. We've known about this construction. Just make sure you are now aware when traveling through there. There was some stuff scheduled last night. We will see plenty of it. I-4 towards the attractions, you'll see some lane closures. Also 528 daytime construction, and then out here I-4 out by 528 and the Florida Turnpike. And then you can see overnight we will see a closure of the Florida Turnpike southbound as you approach the Osceola Parkway area. Follow the detour and you'll be good to go. I'm Trooper Steve with your News 6 traffic alert. Drive safely, and I'll catch you in the morning.
If it feels like your credit card points don't go as far as they used to, you're not imagining it. Even if you're earning the same number of points or miles, their value has quietly been shrinking. Here's why. Credit card rewards are tied to airline, hotel, and retail programs, and many of those programs have raised the number of points required for the same flights, hotel nights, or merchandise. So, something that once cost 20,000 points may now cost 25 or even 30,000 points. And that's on top of regular inflation, which means higher prices across the board. The important thing to remember is this. Points are not like cash. Their value fluctuates based on program rules and real-world pricing. Card issuers don't always call this devaluation, but the results are essentially the same. Your rewards buy less than they used to. Some card issuers and rewards programs have also quietly changed transfer ratios, redemption options, or perks, making it harder to get top value unless you know the rules. Regulators have noticed. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has warned that sudden or unclear changes to rewards can leave consumers confused about what their points are really worth. So far, we've seen warnings, but no major changes. So what can you do? Experts say don't hoard your points. Use them sooner rather than later. Compare redemption values before you cash in. And remember, in many cases, simple cashback cards offer more predictable value than points and miles. Bottom line, your rewards didn't disappear. Their purchasing power, however, did. For Dollars and Cents, I'm Donovan Myrie.
Is anyone surprised by that?
Not me.
No. An Orlando law professor was facing a judge today.
Coming up on News 6 at 5, the serious charges he's looking at as the school places him on leave, plus what we're learning from the courtroom.
And the midterm election season is heating up, and one thing you will see more of are those political ads. A look ahead at the big races in November as we take a live look at Daytona Beach. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back. Glad you're with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
I'm Matt Austin. You're watching News 6 at 5. We're following several top stories for you right now.
Sanford police are publicly addressing a video that has gone viral on social media this week. The woman who posted it and shared it with News 6 is actually a concerned family member and says it shows a man mistreating his stepdaughter. Sanford police say they are investigating and are working with the state attorney's office regarding charges.
In Osceola County, a father convicted of allowing his teen son to drive the family car before a deadly crash will spend 37 years in prison. 4 people, including 3 kids, died. The judge handed down the sentence to Richard Ferguson earlier today. His son will stay in juvenile custody until he turns 19 and under supervision until 21. Orange Osceola State Attorney Monique Worrell is challenging funding cuts impacting domestic violence victims support. Worrell is calling for the restoration of the original Victims of Crime Act contract. She added that Attorney General James Uthmire's office is requiring her office to serve 1,000 child abuse cases despite only 46 cases the previous year. A Central Florida law professor is facing dozens of felony charges accused of having child pornography on his devices. Glenn Peter Ehlers teaches law at Barry University in Orlando. Today, he faced a judge for the first time, accused of possessing hundreds of thousands of child porn images, as well as images of his own students. News 6's Alex Cook is at Barry University, where that professor is now on leave.
Standing before a judge on Wednesday, a man who's made a career teaching law, now accused of breaking it in one of the most disturbing ways possible and betraying the trust of the students who came to him to learn. Ehlers was charged with 50 counts of possessing child pornography, but state attorneys said that could just be the tip of the iceberg.
I believe there's only 50 counts. However, it is alleged it was hundreds of thousands of images that were found on his devices.
Barry University law professor Glenn Peter Ehlers was arrested on Tuesday right here at the university. The state said it wasn't just child porn. They also found pictures of university students.
On one of his devices, there were photos of female students from certain angles. The state is also requesting no return to Barry.
The judge granted Ehlers a $100,000 bond. That's $2,000 for each count of possessing child porn. They also said Ehlers cannot get on the internet, come back here to the university, or have any interaction with minors.
My client is 70 years old. He's got no prior record of any kind. He's married. He's a U.S. citizen. He's a professional. According to the affidavit, he was cooperative with law enforcement. So it asked the court to take those into consideration.
Barry University says that Ehlers is on administrative leave and they plan to fully cooperate with the law enforcement investigation. I asked them about the claim that some of their own students were victims and what they might be doing to protect their students, and I'll share their response as soon as I get it. We're keeping an eye on when Ehlers posts bond and walks out of the Orange County Jail as the case against him continues. In Orlando, Alex Cook, News 6.
In Brevard County, a 73-year-old man is accused of grabbing a girl's butt multiple times while on a cruise ship. The Brevard County Sheriff's Office says it happened while over international waters. The department was notified on Monday after Royal Caribbean's Explorer of the Seas returned to its home port at Port Canaveral. The Sheriff's Office says while this man and the victim were waiting in line for the Flow Rider attraction, that's when he grabbed the girl's rear end multiple times. He is charged with lewd or lascivious conduct and is being held on a $35,000 bond.
Well, get ready for more political ads. That was the big focus this week on Politically Motivated, our podcast that takes you inside the Florida legislature.
News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez and Christopher Heath break down just how much money politicians think your vote for governor is worth.
Everybody's lining up to replace Ron DeSantis.
Also, too, these ads are not cheap. Governor Ron DeSantis' term is almost up, and a rather crowded pool of candidates are vying for his seat. It's proving to be an expensive bid after a dark money pack shelled out $2.5 million to promote current Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins in short but punchy ads like this.
Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins is standing with Governor DeSantis.
They're introductory. Because to your point, people don't sit around thinking about Florida's 28 members of the United States House of Representatives. You've got to introduce yourself to voters because if you don't introduce yourself, your opponents will.
The 30-second ads tout the former state senator's patriotic background and conservative wins, while Florida Congressman Byron Donalds leans on his presidential endorsement and an ad that's got a $1 million price tag.
Superstar of the future, Byron Donalds.
The president trusts him. The left hates him. Florida needs him.
So you'll start to see Donald's anti-illegal immigration and pro-lower tax stance hitting the airwaves almost immediately as we wait to see how and when the Democratic ads for governor are rolled out. Oh, and if you're still wondering, yes, the legislature is still split on a budget. So we're going to talk the big reason why, and we take a look back at the life of the late Jesse Jackson. Just search Politically Motivated on clickorlando.com and watch us live every Wednesday at 8:30.
The race to replace Ron DeSantis is well underway already. Ads for the leading Republican candidates are rolling out, with South Florida Congressman Byron Donalds debuting his ad this week. Meantime, on the Democratic side, the party is looking to do something it has not done this century: win the governor's race.
We've had 30 years of one-party control of this state, and all we have seen is more corruption, more chaos, more backroom deals coming from Tallahassee. That's hurt our environment, that's hurt our public education system, that's hurt our safety nets, that's hurt our housing market, and the list goes on and on and on.
Qualifying for congressional candidates begins on June 8th, with the state's primary set for August 18th.
Well, the plan to rename a Florida airport after President Trump is raising some concerns about what this would cost taxpayers. This week, the Florida House advanced a bill to rename Palm Beach International Airport Donald J. Trump International Airport, with the Senate taking up a similar plan. As the bills are moving through the Florida legislature, a company managed by the Trump Organization has filed 3 new trademark applications. Critics point out other presidentially named airports like Reagan National have trademarks owned by the airport, not a private company. However, supporters say Palm Beach is such an important area for the president.
This is completely proper to name our president, especially a naming of an airport. He has had a strong focus in American infrastructure, and the airport is located at his home base, Palm Beach.
I have not always agreed with every president, but I've never felt the need to stand up and say, no, we shouldn't name an airport after them because of their behavior. But I have to say, I must say no. I must say no to this airport.
The Palm Beach County Department of Airports anticipates implementing the name change will cost $5.5 million.
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg taking the stand in Los Angeles Superior Court today. This is him arriving this morning in what is being hailed a landmark trial. Plaintiffs and their parents allege that social media apps like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube are addictive and harmful to kids and teenagers. CBS News correspondent Gwen Baumgardner reports from Los Angeles.
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg arrived to court in Los Angeles to testify in a social media trial whose outcome could have a sweeping impact. The plaintiff, a woman with the initials KGM, alleges that Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube were intentionally designed to be addictive, with infinite scrolling, autoplay, and recommendation algorithms. At one point on Wednesday, Zuckerberg testified that Instagram has shifted away from time spent on the platform as a goal. The plaintiff's attorney responded, saying when KGM was about 10 years old, the goal was to increase time spent, adding that's what is relevant.
A trial like this one will hopefully uncover the disconnect between what companies say publicly to drive up business and engagement and what is actually going on behind the scenes.
Back outside the courthouse, advocates and family members of those who have struggled with social media's impact held hands in solidarity.
The intention of the company was to prey on teens, use teens' usage, exploit them so they can make greater profits.
In a statement to CBS News, Meta says it strongly disagrees with the allegations, citing its commitment to supporting young people with built-in protections. YouTube parent Google says the allegations in these complaints are simply not true. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
A historic promotion in St. Cloud. Denise Roberts has been named the police department's first ever female deputy chief. Tonight on Trooper Steve on patrol, he caught up with the new deputy chief at the special ceremony surrounded by family and friends.
I am looking forward to the next generation of leadership. Obviously, this position, me being promoted to the rank of deputy chief, not only, yes, is a promotion that I wanted, that I worked hard for, but my promotion also marked the ability to others to promote and come up through the ranks, just as I did many years ago.
Out there,
absolutely,
other minority women, or just people in general that go, maybe I can do that.
Absolutely,
you're showing that you can do that.
Absolutely, and my speech talked about that. I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. Put in the hard work, apply yourself, lead with compassion, with integrity, service. Just lead with your heart. Always do the right thing.
There's a lot going on.
I know.
There's so many people in this room.
There is.
So I'm going to let you go enjoy the moment. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
And you can see the entire ceremony and the new deputy chief's full speech by visiting this article. on clickorlando.com. Hit the road with Trooper Steve on patrol weekdays at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on the new 6 Plus streaming app for your smart TV or clickorlando.com.
Let's hit you with a little sports news now. Orlando Magic will begin the second half of the season without their star forward, Franz Wagner. The team announcing today he will be out indefinitely. He suffered a high ankle sprain more than 3 months ago and has missed the last 25 games. The team says Wagner needs more time to rehab before returning to full play, and he'll be reevaluated in 3 weeks. Right now, the Magic are 7th seed in the East with 29 games left in the regular season, hanging on to a playoff spot for now. Well, the community in Brevard County fighting to have rocket fuel not be near their homes.
Coming up, Brevard County's community correspondent James Sparvero highlights the concerns from residents as officials meet right now. Jonathan.
Warm today. It's going to get even warmer tomorrow. Then we're talking about records potentially being broken as we get into Friday and Saturday. Then we're going to go back to winter for a little bit. We're going to have the ups and downs in your full forecast coming up at about 5:47.
And a big help for some beautiful creatures. The new funding being used to help turtles in Brevard County.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Shark Coatings.
Well, a big night for a community that doesn't want a plant that makes rocket fuel less than a mile from their neighborhood.
Your Cape Canaveral community correspondent James Sparvero has been telling us about this controversial development for a couple of months.
Neighbors outraged that they could be living close to a liquefied natural gas plant get their chance Wednesday night to talk face-to-face to those behind the project.
If it blows up, I have no idea what's going to happen to us.
From December, when I first told a neighbor about this proposal, to last month, when more spoke up at a Port Canaveral Commission meeting.
I'm not just worried, I'm horrified.
The community's efforts to stop two companies from buying the port's vacant land on Merritt Island's Barge Canal will bring them here to the Cape Canaveral Community Center.
We've been trying to interact with as many folks as possible.
Alex Nye with Chesapeake Utilities told me he'd feel safe living close to the plant. He says LNG is the future for space and maritime industries, and right now, none of it's made here.
The residents' concerns is the location. Some have asked, why not put it closer to the Space Center?
Sure. And we've looked at a number of sites, and this one is most advantageous on a number of different fronts, including access to the water.
The port hasn't voted yet whether to sell the land the plant would be on. CEO Captain John Murray has said while the port doesn't use the land on the canal now, it might be useful for the port's interests in the future. It seems like a no-brainer for you residents that this shouldn't be built, but the port's taken its time to consider all its options.
It's a little simpler for us. It's open and shut. Too close.
After Wednesday night's meeting here hosted by the project leads, I found out the community's organizing its own meeting to talk more about fighting this proposal. If you want to go to that meeting too, I'll put the full details on clickorlando.com. In Brevard County, I'm your Cape Canaveral community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Staying in Brevard County, the future Bowen Aquarium got a big boost today. Congressman Mike Herodopoulos announced $1.75 million for the Scaife Family Sea Turtle Care Complex. This afternoon, he toured that turtle rehab center at the Brevard Zoo. Also in attendance, Pat and John Bowen, for whom the future aquarium will be named. The center has seen a sharp increase in the number of turtles in its care.
So we're really excited about the facility we'll build at the aquarium that'll take overflow from here, continue to serve turtles at this really high level, and really turn this inside out. What you're seeing today is not available to the public, but at the aquarium it will be visible. You'll get to see our veterinary teams in action and understand the steps that people can do every day to help sea turtles.
The aquarium, which has yet to break ground, will provide an interactive experience and showcase the work of the Brevard Zoo's rehab efforts.
All right, we want to check in out with meteorologist Jonathan Kagas. Really a pleasant day outside today, but we could be nearing some record temperatures by the end of the week.
Yeah, getting really close to 90 degrees as we get towards Friday and especially Saturday. Those are going to be the two warm days, the warmest days of the 7 days coming up. Here's a live look outside downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Skycam. Air temperatures back to the lower 80s under a mainly cloudy sky. The breeze out of the southwest at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Temperatures, again, responding to that southwesterly push of air and, of course, the sunshine that started to break free a little earlier into the afternoon. DeLand, we are at 79 right now, 77 in Ocala. Denellen, we are back to 75. Melbourne, good evening. We are at 74 degrees, on our way to the upper 50s and lower 60s tomorrow afternoon. Very nice start to the morning on the warmer side. Temperatures hanging around 60 in Titusville, back to the upper 50s in New Smyrna Beach. Highs tomorrow then climb into the low to mid 80s. We'll add a degree or two on top of what we had today. Rain chances still staying on the lower side, well, non-existent side. 0% shot again tomorrow for your afternoon. We'll see a few of those puffy clouds again back into play. Clouds and rain forecast. There's not much rain in the mix. Again, a few clouds passing by through the overnight. And then once we get into tomorrow morning, we'll watch out for a little bit of patchy fog in the mix. There's lunchtime on your Thursday. Things are looking pretty good. Don't think these little specks of green that you see there on future radar are actually going to come into fruition. But you see it right there, just a few passing clouds in the white. Otherwise, sunshine is going to be out tomorrow afternoon. I think it's pretty much a carbon copy of what we saw today, maybe a little more sunshine in the mix. Then as we get into Saturday, this is when record high temperatures are going to be possible. We're flirting with them on Friday. Better opportunity to break some or tie some on Saturday. High temperature forecast in Orlando, 88. That would tie the record in Orlando. Getting close in Ocala, we're at 84 in Palm Coast. So it is going to be really warm and really warm for the Orlando City home opener. That's going to be at 7:30. Back to the mid-70s by 7 o'clock. So again, we are about our average high temperature still at 7 o'clock in the evening on Saturday. Temperature still hanging around 70. Should be a very nice night again as soccer comes back into play. There is the cold front. This is Saturday afternoon. There's 1 o'clock. All that orange on your screen there. That is the warmth that builds out ahead of the front. Then watch what happens as it passes. That goes down towards the Caribbean, and then there we see it. By the time we get towards 7 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, it really settles in. It will be cold both Monday morning and Tuesday morning, with the colder of the bunch coming on Tuesday. There is the steady climb, though. On Thursday, we're back to the 84 degrees on Thursday, back to the upper 80s on Friday, 88 degrees on Saturday. Now here's a look at the rest of your 7-day forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Advent Health.
Temperatures then fall back to around 80 as that system comes through. Rain chances do go up a little bit on Sunday. Nothing too crazy. Should not be like what we had last weekend. Then we'll fall to the 40s on Monday, upper 30s on Tuesday morning. back to the 70s for highs on Wednesday, guys.
Wild ride, Jonathan, thank you. Well, dozens of guests forced to evacuate a hotel after a car barrels through it.
But the damage is not slowing down the owners. Up next, we head back to the site to assess the damage and get an update on the efforts underway right now to get it repaired.
Coming up in the morning, a critical test for NASA.
We'll have updates on another practice mission for Artemis and why this one needs to end differently before they're cleared for a historic mission to the moon.
Plus, a push to make exercise more fun.
We'll see you for News 6 Morning starting at 6.
Well, a truck slams through a piece of local history, leaving behind splintered wood, shattered glass, and dozens of guests searching for a place to sleep.
Tonight, the 1876 Heritage Inn in Orange City is making repairs after police say a driver trying to drain water from his truck bed crashed straight through the building.
News 6's Jarrell Baker tells us new details of what happened in that parking lot and how owners plan to reopen their doors soon.
I know you can see it back here. That is the damage that was left behind by a truck plowing right through the 1876 hotel Tuesday afternoon, displacing more than 50 guests. Now, police say the driver was in this parking lot near the building, lunging back and forth with his truck several times, trying to get water out of the bed of his truck until he plowed right through the hotel. Now, the hotel was evacuated after that crash. Orange City leaders said that the damage to the hotel forced them to temporarily close the building because it was unsafe. But the owner, Stacy Comte, says that they're making repairs and should be reopened next week.
Drawings are being walked over to the city right now for their final approval. To reopen, we have some minor electrical repairs. We have some structural repairs to the wraparound porch, and then we have a small repair to our fire sprinkler system.
The Red Cross says that 7 of the more than 50 guests displaced by the crash stayed the night in their emergency shelter set up at New Smyrna Beach Church. Now, as for the driver, he refused medical treatment and police say that he is doing okay. However, he was cited for reckless driving, which is a misdemeanor. Here in Volusia County, Jarrell Baker, News 6.
Well, despite the growth of the artificial intelligence market, there are some worried about how technology is impacting the job market for Americans.
The National Economic Director spoke outside the White House this morning, emphasizing that AI is not going anywhere.
Those productivity gains are flowing through to higher wages. But at the same time, we're seeing that if you have more productive workers, that maybe you need fewer new workers. And so it's been somewhat difficult for recent college grads to get jobs and so on. We expect that that's going to sort of evolve over time. That's usually what happens in the labor market, that people will find jobs, but will be different jobs than what they thought.
News 6 at 6 is coming up next, and we have a surprising update for you tonight.
All this week, we've been telling you about the 13-year-old boy who got his neck slashed by a stranger. Well, coming up next, what a newly released report shows about the hours leading up to that suspect's arrest.
Plus, we now know more about the Pulse demolition, the newest timeline for the nightclub and its iconic sign.
Live look at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
Don't know why he was walking around.
New developments tonight. A man had the cops called on him 3 different times, hours before police say he slashed a 13-year-old boy's throat. Plus,
Sanford police say it's a disturbing interaction, but is it criminal? The viral post that has now prompted a state investigation.
And a local couple disputes a $950 charge, but still had the money withdrawn. News 6 investigators are getting answers.
We appreciate you very much for all your hard work.
News 6 at 6 starts now.
Well, developing tonight, News 6 has learned the man accused of randomly attacking and slashing a 13-year-old boy's neck in Daytona Beach had actually been questioned by police hours earlier for another separate violent attack. Police reports showed Jermaine Long chased and hit a man with a sledgehammer that morning. But as your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed explains, he was initially let go.
When police finally arrested Jermaine Long after the attack outside the Slingshot Ride here, it was actually the third time police had made contact with him that day around the Main Street and Boardwalk area here. I requested and got the record showing the timeline. Daytona Beach police reports show on Saturday, Jermaine Long was trespassed from a location on South Hollywood Avenue around 8 a.m. 3.5 hours later, records show they were called again, this time to a 7-Eleven near the boardwalk where Long allegedly chased a man and hit him with a sledgehammer. Officers spoke with Long and the victim, but instead of making an arrest, they trespassed Long from the area. Then about 11 hours after that, police get the call Long randomly attacked and slashed a 13-year-old's throat near the Slingshot Ride.
From the initial time of the call to the time he was in handcuffs was within a couple of minutes.
Video shared with News 6 shows his arrest. Police then 2 days later filed charges for the sledgehammer incident. I asked Daytona Beach Police Director of Operations Bill Rhodes about the wait.
I don't know the ins and outs of it at this point. It's being looked at.
Rhodes tells me they're currently reviewing the officers' initial investigations to find out why they didn't arrest him then. He says Long is well known to officers in the area.
He's got a pretty long criminal history, mostly all in Daytona Beach.
Just back in January, records show Long was arrested for allegedly trying to hurt two men with a knife and then hit them with a pole. Prosecutors dropped the charges, though, and he was released from jail just 4 days before Saturday's incident. The teen's parents shared with me this week they're concerned about how Long was free before attacking their son, and they want answers.
I don't know why he was walking around.
I'm told the state attorney's office is actually reviewing that case from January again, too. Now, Long will be back in court Thursday, where prosecutors will push to keep him in jail before his trial. I'm your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
Now to a viral video out of Seminole County. A warning, what you're about to see is difficult to watch, I can tell you as a dad. So here's the video Sanford police are addressing publicly after it went viral on social media this week. The woman who posted it, she shared it with News 6, and she's actually a concerned family member, says it shows a guy threatening his stepdaughter, and it has millions of views, and now there's a full investigation. Your Seminole County community correspondent Catherine Silver taking a closer look at what happened and how authorities are responding.
First, it's important to note that no one has been arrested. That decision is now in the hands of the state attorney's office. Sanford police have called the video sensitive in nature. We have blurred parts of it that are hard to watch and because of the children involved. You're watching a family's driveway through the eyes of a security camera.
My niece is standing behind my grandma's car, and he yokes her up, grabs her by her hood, and slams her in the car.
Leave me alone, all right? I'm gonna you up.
Leandra Chapman says this is her 9-year-old niece and the girl's stepfather. We're not sharing his name or showing his face because at this point he's not facing any criminal charges.
Then later there's this video.
Yes. He walks up behind her, slaps her in the face and in the back of her head.
No, I listen all day.
Her older sister tries to help her, but he tells her to let her go.
Stop. No, move. No.
Stop.
You can't. No, I'm tired of listening to this every day.
A lot of cussing, a lot of threats towards a child.
You behave, I beat out of you.
What led to you posting this video online?
When no arrests were made the first night.
That post prompted Sanford police to address the video publicly. First, they shared this statement saying they were notified Monday night, but the family had left the area already. Then they shared another statement with even more context, saying they were notified 2 hours after it had occurred. Had the family been on scene when officers arrived, an immediate arrest could have been made.
Maybe I should have called the police first. But when you see that, the first thing you're gonna think when your mind is clouded is go to the scene, go help your niece.
Don't put your hands on her no more. Got it?
I don't want to see kids in the system. I don't want to see kids separated from their parents, but I don't want to see kids being hurt either. So I want this to be like an eye-opener for everyone.
Police say that DCF is aware and they are looking into this as well. Prosecutors will be reviewing follow-up reports from every agency, and they expect to make a decision on charges in the coming days. In Seminole County, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
Well, tonight we've learned when the Pulse nightclub in Orlando will be torn down. Demolition will begin on March 18th. The iconic Pulse sign will be taken down 8 days earlier on the 10th. That sign will be put into storage. The demo will make way for a permanent memorial for the 49 people killed at that nightclub in 2016. Developing tonight in Lake County, we now know more about deputies finding a dead body near State Road 46 and the 429. The Lake County Sheriff's Office says a woman fell to her death from the 429 onto State Road 46. It happened near Sleepy Bear Lane. Troopers say the victim was 49 years old. They haven't released her name, and the cause of that fall is under investigation. Also developing tonight, an Osceola County man was sentenced to 37 years in prison for a deadly crash that killed 4 people. Get this, though, he's not the one who was behind the wheel. Richard Ferguson, though, allowed his teen son, underage, to get behind the wheel of a car. That 15-year-old sped through a stop sign, crashing into a minivan, killing a 50-year-old woman and her 3 grandchildren. Ferguson and the mother of the children both spoke today in court.
Sorry. Yes, is there something I could have did more? Yes, like the district attorney said, why didn't I just pull off behind him and stop him? That's what I'm sorry for, because there is something more that I could have done.
This man lived a full life that my children will never get to live. And so it makes me sick to sit here and hear stuff like that. My children were robbed of their life.
As for the son, Richard Ferguson, he pled guilty to manslaughter charges, accepted a plea deal that will keep him in juvenile custody until he turns 19. That's next year. He'll then stay under supervision until he's 21. In Seminole County, no bond for a man accused of pointing a gun in a gym. This happened yesterday at the Crunch Fitness in Altamont Springs. It's right off 434 near Montgomery Road. According to an arrest report, Winston Medley went up to a group of guys exercising and told them they're weak and they should lift more. Police say after the group walked to another area of the gym, Medley approached him again, pulled out a gun. That's when the group ran away. Investigators say Medley tried to shoot, but the gun didn't fire. Medley facing multiple charges, including attempted first-degree premeditated murder. State Attorney for Orange and Osceola counties is once again clashing with the State Attorney General. Monique Worrell today accusing AG James Uthmeier of using federal funding meant to help victims of crimes as a, quote, tool of political retribution. Your Orange County community correspondent Mike Valenti was at Worrell's press conference today, where she said nearly $500,000 of funding is at stake.
Monique Worrell's office at risk of losing nearly $500,000 in grant funding. And this dispute boils down to funding for victims of domestic violence and child physical abuse.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here.
The acronym used over and over again in Worrell's briefing Wednesday was VOCA, stands for the Victims of Crime Act.
And those funds exist for one purpose, and that is to support victims of violent crime.
The federal VOCA funding goes to the state AG's office, and Uthmeier then doles out that funding to the individual circuits, which use the money to fund victim advocacy programs. Last October, Worrell's office submitted an application for VOCA funding based on her office's actual victim data. And she says the AG's office approved that application. But then a couple months later, in December,
without warning or explanation, that contract was changed.
In the version revised by the AG's office, funding was slashed for domestic violence victims by about 80%.
Even though domestic violence is the most common violent crime in our circuit.
Yet the AG's office increased funding to support victims of child physical abuse.
These numbers are detached from real data, unsupported by case volume, and impossible to meet.
Last year, victims advocates in the circuit served 46 victims of child physical abuse or neglect. Yet Worrell says the AG's office now expects her office to serve up to 1,000 of those type of victims this year. not meeting those deliverables, Worrell fears, could result in penalties and jeopardize future funding. In an email to Worrell's office, the AG staff says they're not threatening to withhold future funding, but Worrell says she's not signing this contract, putting the $500,000 this year at risk. In an email to us, the deputy press secretary for the AG's office said, quote, "The VOCA grant funds are available whenever State Attorney Worrell is ready to sign the contract," noting that the AG's office is offering more than double the amount her office requested last year. The deputy press secretary ending by saying, quote, "We hope she does the right thing." I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Well, we have a major sports announcement for you, and we think you'll get a kick out of it. That's in sports. But your forecast? Well, that's Jonathan Kagas.
Hey, temperature is pretty nice this afternoon. This sunset, you can see it going down right now as you get a live look in Brevard County with our Launch Credit Union camera. More warmth is coming. It's not staying that long, though. We're going to talk about when some cold arrives again at about 6:17.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health.
Well, we've all gotten those messages. Our bank suspects suspicious activity. Do you recognize this charge? It's meant to protect your money. New Smyrna Beach couple got 2 of those messages, and even though they disputed the charge, it still went through, costing them hundreds of dollars. So they came to News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden for help.
I think the bank should have protected me in that situation, and they didn't.
Austin and Jessica Reeves are still trying to figure out how $950 came out of their bank account for a charge they say they never made.
It was clear fraud.
Their bank, Wells Fargo, thought it was fraud too. They got this high priority notification in their account from fraud detection. The subject, we've detected some unusual activity. At the same time, they got this text message. Do you recognize the decline transaction of $950 to Coinbase on card 3585? Reply yes or no. Reeves replied no. It came back, invalid command, and the charge went through.
I was really confused because I thought as soon as you say no, they should shut your card off right away.
According to bank statements, the bank initially declined the $950, but 4 minutes later it was approved. Before the $950, there were also 2 smaller transactions to Coinbase that the Reeves say were not theirs either. They say the bank refunded those immediately, but not the $950. What do you think should happen here?
I think I should have got reimbursed right away for the $950 because I said no.
The couple filed a claim with Wells Fargo, which was denied. The reason given? Based on our investigation, we confirmed that the card used was in your possession when the claim was filed, and the shipping address provided to the merchant matches the address we have on file.
I think in today's age, we know that you don't need the physical card to use somebody's card.
So many data breaches, there's so many ways that a card could get compromised.
The day after the $950 came out of their account, the bank declined a $200 Coinbase charge, and 2 days later, 2 $50 Coinbase charges were also declined according to statements. Do you feel like your money is protected?
I don't at all.
The Reeves have been trying to get their money back for 3 months now, so we've reached out to Wells Fargo for them. It took a couple of phone calls, a couple of emails, and a couple of days. But the company then sent us this statement saying, in part, we appreciate this matter being brought to our attention. After reviewing additional information, we are pleased we could resolve the issue and the money is back in our customer's account. So we circled back to the Reeves.
We appreciate your help with it so much. Investigative journalism is super important. We appreciate you very much for all your hard work.
Good stuff, Lewis Bolden. Well, we saw some pretty beautiful weather out there today. It's gorgeous out tonight.
Fantastic.
But that heat is about to be turned up this weekend, Jonathan.
It is. Yeah, I think we can start calling it heat, as we're going to make a run for 90 degrees for the first time this year in record territory by the end of this work week, start of the weekend. Live look outside Brevard County, Port Canaveral. Launch Credit Union camera tonight. We're back in the low 70s. Gorgeous out there right now. The breeze about 10 to 15 miles an hour. That is now shifted to a more southerly and southwesterly component. We talked about this yesterday, that would help to really push in the warmth, and that got us back into the lower 80s today. 74 in Bushnell, 73 degrees in Wildwood. We're at 73 also in Daytona. New Smyrna, good evening. We're hanging around 70, pushing 80 in Palm Bay right now. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, a little bit warmer still, right around 60 degrees across most of Central Florida. Good enough for about 5 to 10 degrees above where we should be for this time of the year. Now here's a look at your afternoon.
Your forecast is sponsored by Strata Services.
Rain chances at 0% tomorrow. We could use a little bit of that, but we're not going to get any until about Sunday. 80 in Palm Coast tomorrow. Back to the middle 80s in Bushnell, Groveland, Claremont. 83 in Leesburg, Apopka. We're touching 84 tomorrow. At Mount Dora, we're back to 83 as well. Lake Mary and Heathrow, good evening. Tomorrow morning, quick start to the warm-up, pushing 70 by 10 o'clock, 77 by lunchtime. And again, we're going to top out around 84 degrees with increasing sunshine after a few extra clouds to start the day. Big pattern change underway. It's the main reason why we're warming up. All the cold air now is pushing back and sloshing down the Rocky Mountains. All the warmth now building back into the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, where the deep freeze had been on for an extended period of time. We are under the influence of that part of the pattern right now. As we fast forward out to Saturday, basically the blue colors and purple colors, that's way below normal temperatures. The orange and red, that is well above normal temperatures. And we're going to be into that 10-ish degree above normal category as we move into Saturday. Again, that puts us into record territory. Look what happens on Tuesday. A lot of blue, a lot of purple. We're talking almost 20 degrees below normal. By the time you wake up on Tuesday morning, that will put us back into the 30s across a lot of Central Florida. This is the front that does it all. This is fast forwarding now to Sunday, I should say. We are dry up until this point. We do have the chance anyway for a few scattered downpours in the mix. I think most of us, again, are going to be on the drier side as this comes on through. The big deal is, as it works its way back through Central Florida, it brings in that colder and drier air again, and then we wake up to this, closing in on the freezing mark. Again, in Ocala, 34 in the Villages, upper 30s in Orlando. We'll hold tight into the mid-40s along the Space Coast as we try to warm things up quickly, though, as this round of colder air arrives. So there we go, near record warmth Friday into Saturday. Of course, Saturday, the home opener, Orlando City kicking things back off, getting soccer started. 80 degrees on Sunday with that next front coming through. And then there we go. There's the chill. 60s for highs on Monday and Tuesday.
I like it. All right, Sports Director Jamie Say is here. The injury bug is hurting the Magic right now.
You know, the All-Star break is when guys are supposed to get healthy, right? You know, they get rested and relaxed. But Franz Wagner is going to miss some more time. The details coming up next. Plus, Racing Hall of Famer Tony Stewart made a pit stop at News 6 this week. He'll be in a Top Fuel dragster in a couple of weeks in Central Florida. And he might be racing against his wife at 300 miles an hour. Sports is on the other side. The Orlando Magic have returned from the All-Star break, but Franz Wagner is not fully back from ankle pain. This injury just keeps lingering. Today, the Magic announced that Franz will miss more time as he continues to recover from the left high ankle sprain he suffered in early December. Franz had missed 25 games to this point. Now he's out indefinitely, say the Magic. Wagner needs more imaging and treatment. Then he's going to be reevaluated in about 3 weeks. The Magic's season has really been snake bitten by injuries, but the season goes on. They tip off at the Sacramento Kings tomorrow night. We heard from the guys today after practice in California.
I talked to him, last night, and his ability to want to just be on the floor, and that's what is the hardest. But also understanding that he knows how capable this group is.
Just wanting him to take his time, however long that is, and get all the way healthy. Because
we don't want him out there, if he's not feeling like himself.
So the Magic have played 53 games. Paolo and Franz have only played 19 together. There are 29 games left in the regular season. Magic are 28-25 right now. They're 7th in the Eastern Conference, so they would make the play-in portion of the postseason if things ended today. We're going to see what this Magic team is made of over the next 7 weeks. Central Florida is one of the motorsports capitals of the country, of course. One hot rod racing's biggest event is speeding towards Gainesville. The 57th annual Gator Nationals kick off the National Hot Rod Association season on March 5th. It goes through the 8th. And motorsports legend Tony Stewart is back for another season in a cockpit. Stewart dropped by News 6 this week after he made his return to Daytona in Friday's NASCAR truck race. But nowadays, the Hall of Famer is more comfortable in that, in his top-fueled dragster going from 0 to 330 miles an hour in less than 4 seconds. Stewart is ready to start his 3rd NHRA season at the Gator Nationals in March. You may see him compete against his wife, Leah Pruitt, too. She's back in the seat after taking off last year to have their son, Dominic.
At some point, it's going to happen. We're going to have to line up against each other. So that's something that should be special for us as a family, too.
Which one of you is more competitive, or is it equal?
We're both pretty damn competitive, I'll be honest. But I think when it comes to this matchup, whenever this happens, I feel like she's the one that's going to take it to the next level.
Taking it to the next level at 330 miles an hour. You know, Tony Stewart's so interesting. Check out my full conversation with the fan favorite this Saturday night on After the Whistle. The show starts at 11:35 on News 6. Finally, we've got a big announcement, guys. Yeah, News 6 is now the official local station of Orlando City SC, our soccer team.
It's awesome news.
We are your home now for exclusive content, and that includes Orlando Soccer Insider, Saturdays at 11 a.m. We're also going to air Orlando City matches right here on News 6. We're going to have more details tomorrow on News 6 mornings, but this is so exciting. Especially, I'm psyched about it because I remember when they were back in the USL Pro Days, you know, their first season,
awesome.
and here we are partnering with Orlando City. We couldn't be happier. Yeah. Obviously, their season opener is this Saturday night against the New York Red Bulls at Interco Stadium. We are fired up.
The perfect partnership.
It is a perfect partnership. Yes, we bleed purple here.
That we do.
We bleed purple. So welcome Orlando City.
Jamie, thank you so much. Thank you for watching this evening. We have more news coming up at 9 o'clock on clickorlando.com and the News 6 Plus streaming app that you can download to your TV. We hope you have a great night.